almost forgot to hit go live. I'm glad I saw that. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Harry Potter retrospective, as voted by the fans a long time ago, actually. This has been something that's been brewing for a while. Very, very stoked to get into this. Before we drop and reveal who's joining us today, some housekeeping. I don't really know what's releasing at this time because this is obviously a Patreon thing, but I'm going to say check us out on our social media outlets and our Facebook, Twitter, GeekVerse Cast, home base, GeekVerse.ca. Everywhere on the web you can find us. But yeah, I am joined by...
You got to introduce yourself first, don't you?
Yeah, who the fuck are you?
I was going to do it after, but I guess
Travis.
That's the catch, yeah. I am anything from the Charlie Diaz, Taylor Field.
I am the boy who lived, Kirklin Patzer.
I am she who shall not be named, Jessica. Kind of counterintuitive, but, you know.
Yeah, you should have introduced yourself.
I am the three-headed caster, Dylan Musk.
Ooh, I like that one.
That's very good. So... yeah, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be quite a journey. We got a whole bunch of films that we're gonna be going through. But yeah, we're kicking off with Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone, whichever you prefer.
This is Harry Potter. You didn't even say that. This is Harry Potter retroing, you know.
We're doing a completely different series called the Philosopher's Stone, not Harry Potter related whatsoever.
I always forget what it is because it's like North America's Philosophers or something, or is it the opposite?
No, we're sorcerers because North Americans were considered too dumb to know what a philosopher was.
Yeah,
but in the movie they say sorcerer, don't they?
They probably dubbed it
because I'll get into
it. The subtitles do say philosopher, so I would be surprised if there's a North American and a British version.
Yeah, maybe since we're like a colony, you know, maybe we get the British version too up here in Canada. Yeah. I don't know.
I got a photo of the Queen above me.
Yeah, of course. Pray to her.
Well, where do you guys want to start off? There are so many places to start with this movie. Actually, Jessica, you're our resident Harry Potter fan. Where do you want to start?
Look at all the gear she's got, too. All the paraphernalia. She's got the Slytherin cup.
All the books behind her.
The Hogwarts Express shirt. Oh, yeah.
Is that VHS?
No, this is DVD. It was the collector's edition. It actually came with a 3-headed bobblehead of Fluffy.
Oh,
each head was a bobblehead.
That's cool.
That's a thick DVD case.
Yeah, it was, multiple DVDs, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say that basically I watched this movie, and then every time if I was watching this with someone and would have made a comment, I actually put the comment in my phone, and I was like, I'm going to be prepared for this cast. So I've just got an actual list of a whole bunch of just bullshit points. So,
wow. Stepping it up. Normally you're known as being the 3%, you know, and now you're up there in the... Are you how prepared are you? Are you over the 90s now? Is this this is a new Jessica High, I think.
So I'll be honest, I specifically ordered this shirt and all of the shirts that I have, each shirt specific for the movie that we're watching. So I preemptively, I'm ready for these casts.
Damn.
Yeah.
So for you, Jessica, I guess we'll go to, before we get into it, we'll go around and just be where does Harry Potter fit into your life? What was the hook?
Are you starting with me? You gotta.
Oh yeah. You're
Travis,
the go-to.
You gotta direct.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it's a lot of pressure.
I don't know what to do with my hands or
movements.
anything.
Yeah. Harry Potter for me is definitely a large part of my life. Got my Ravenclaw tattoo here, chilling on my arm. My son's middle name is Sirius. My second child, their middle name is also going to be Harry Potter based.
Nice.
I thought you were going to actually say that my second child's middle name will be Harry Potter.
No.
My second child will be Harry Potter. Yeah.
Movie may be based around him, but I'll be not one of the best characters. So yeah, definitely I have all the movies, all the books, read them, watched them multiple times. Painted a wall in my previous house from the Deathly Hallows story. So yeah, overall, I am definitely probably the biggest Harry Potter fan here. Like, I think Harry Potter to me is similar to like Marvel to Travis.
So did you like read the book and then watch the movie, read the book, watch the movie back in the day? Or did you read all the books before the movies? Like where were you on there?
No, funny enough, I watched all the movies before I read the books. So the very first movie ever released, the very first midnight launch, my mom, she like heard people at her work talking about it. They were going to take their kids to it, this big thing. And so she went and bought tickets to this midnight release to a show she'd never heard of that sold out. So I had never heard of this show, never read the books. And I got to go to the midnight release of this sold out show, surrounded by people dressed up as wizards that I had no idea what I was going to. And yeah, my cousins were reading it. First time I ever heard of the actual books, they were on the fifth book. The fifth book had just come out. And then my dad got me the seventh one when it first released. And I was like, okay, well, I guess now I'll start reading them because I now own one of them. And so, yeah, I was late to the party, actually, but
yeah,
here we are.
I'm kind of surprised. I always thought that you read all the books like first because you're just so deep into it. Yeah, it's awesome.
What about you, Kirklin?
I'll go since I'm talking. Yeah, I think I saw the first movie before. I was pretty young when it came out. I don't know exactly what year it was. Is it like 2000, 2001 or something?
2001.
Okay.
The same year that Melee came out. I remember.
So I was about 5 years old, and I remember. I don't remember because my mom used to read like the first book to me and my sister until. And this is very early on in the book. I got so upset when I got to the point, or to the part of the book rather, when nobody showed up to Harry's birthday. And I was literally like sobbing. I was like crying, and my mom just stopped reading it. And my sister was so pissed off at me because I just wasn't man enough, I guess, little 5-year-old to like make it through. I was just so like emotional at that moment. So that was the end of like the book reading for me. I never read it on my own or anything like that, but definitely fell in love with the movies. Like I was saying, like my sister read all the books, so she was huge on it. So I was just kind of like feeding off that energy, and I just loved them. I was I was pretty young when it came out, but I felt like I was just like a little kid that could go to Hogwarts. You know, I felt like it was an actual thing out there in the world. Like it was just so magical for me, and I love these movies. I used to watch them yearly, like just binge them in one day, pretty much. And I mean, it's getting less frequent when I do that, but I definitely love watching them like around Christmas time. I always attribute these like Christmas movies. Maybe it's a controversial take, but like, I don't know what it is.
It's right there beside Transformers.
Transformers is a Christmas movie, yeah. I love these movies, and I'm just excited to go through them with you guys and talk about each film on its own and dissect it. And yeah,
nice.
What about you,
Dylan? For me, it was always the movies. I remember back in the day, my sister was reading the books. I think maybe she just read a couple of them or something. But for me, it was always the movies. And yeah, I was just so in love with them. And I had like tons of Harry Potter Lego sets and all sorts of toys. And I was just all into it. And I kind of just followed along with the movies, watched the new ones when they came out. Wasn't too concerned with the books. And yeah, it's kind of how it went for me. I just kind of watched them, and I think for a lot of us around our age group, right, we kind of grew up with them.
Yeah.
And then they got darker as we got older. It was very interesting timing wise.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the last one came out, I think I probably didn't watch it. Like, when did the last one come out? 2008,
2011, I think, because it was within the decade when we did our decades cast in 2020, right?
Yeah, and
well, yeah, there was 8 movies, and they took a little break because of the passing of Dumbledore. So the 10 years makes sense.
Yeah, so I mean, I think probably after the last one came out, I probably didn't watch any of them for like 5 or 6 years. Like I kind of just went radio silent on it. I think I kind of had the journey with it. But then I would say maybe 4 years ago, I started reading some of the books for the first time, and I got through like 4 of them, and I liked them enough. And I think the 4th one I wanted to get to because I really liked that movie a lot. But I didn't love the books as much as I probably would have were I younger had it when I was reading them. So I kind of stopped there. And then, yeah, and it's funny that we are doing this now because like me and my girlfriend played through the Harry Potter Lego games back in January, all 7 of the years, and I love that. It was a lot of fun, and I got kind of hyped after that and watched. I think I watched like 3 of the movies, and I feel like that's what kind of happens. I watch like the first couple or 3, and then I fall off of them. So this first movie in particular just has like deep nostalgia for me, and I've seen it tons. But then like each one subsequently, I've seen them less and less and rewatched them less and less, and they feel less special for me, and they're less nostalgic and familiar. And like 5 and 6, I don't even know. Those are just like a blind spot. Like I feel maybe when we get there, I'll be like, oh, I actually remember a lot more of this than I thought. But it does seem I don't know. Like those parts didn't really stick with me just because of the timing of when they came out. I think Kirklin, you were about to say something.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, because I totally had similar vibes. I think honestly for me, a big part of it could be the nostalgia factor and how I was younger when like those earlier movies were coming out. But I also just feel like the earlier ones are just so much more magical to me. Like the second ones just get a lot more serious and dark, like you mentioned. So it's like, oh, it's getting serious, like no pun intended, but like I like shit's getting real. Whereas in the earlier ones, like, there's some danger involved, but like overall it's just them going to classes and stuff like that. And I felt like you just said, like when I would be binging them when I'd get into those later years, it's like, oh, I know it's getting to an end, and I'm like, I'm just getting sad right now, where I want to go back to when they're young and everyone's just happy and chipper. And so I definitely am more attached to the earlier films for sure.
I think that's why the first one in particular, and then maybe even just the second one, like stick with me so much, just from how like colorful they are and how much like there's so many random little magical things in this first one, like Neville's magic forget me whatever thing.
Remembrall. Yeah.
And it's like it doesn't really matter, but there's just so much of those little things that make the world feel full. And to what Kirklin said earlier, that he felt like it was a real place, I feel like that's one of the genius parts about the story, is that she kind of got it both ways of writing like a high fantasy world that's completely different, but then also we can just go into a regular world. And I think that added a lot for the immersive aspect, where we felt like it was a real thing as kids, or it felt more real in that way. So I think that's probably why it stuck with me so much. And then logically, as they went along, got darker and had less colors, they like stuck with me less. But these first ones still have a really special place in my heart. How about you, Taylor?
Gosh, I mean,
where to start?
Where to start? I've always been more into the movies when it comes to Harry Potter. With the books, I remember being in elementary school, and I would always take out the books just to like flex, but I would never read them.
Look cool. Yeah. It's like, check out
no one else is allowed to read these either.
Yeah.
Just brain flex. Yeah.
I remember
third graders.
I remember taking out specifically the Goblet of Fire, and my friends would be like, this one has nothing to do with Harry Potter. And I never read it, so I could never actually comment about it. So,
did you still comment about it though? Would you still make comments like,
in my opinion? Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember exactly what I would say, but I'm sure I said some sassy thing like, I read it cover to cover. Like, that was a big book. That was one of the biggest ones in our library at the time. I mean, this is definitely would have been like 2004, 2005. Yeah, so
the golden age.
As far as the movies go, that was always just something I was always super into. I love the films, and I love being like the age to grow up with them. I think that's a huge thing for our age demographic, and for millennials in general. For the most part, I would say like it's such a generational thing that I feel like that doesn't come around to everyone. Not everyone gets that opportunity, so it's pretty magical. And when I really started getting into the movies, I would have been after the first couple. So it would have been probably Prisoner of Azkaban or Goblet of Fires when I started to get on board. And then definitely Order of the Phoenix is probably the earliest one I remember seeing in theaters. And I just was really sticking on board.
Man, that seems pretty late.
Yeah, that would be, I don't have memories of seeing the other ones in theaters. But Order of the Phoenix, I do.
I really only remember the last 2 in theaters. I'm sure I saw most of the ones before that, but I don't. It's hard for me to dig that far back in my mind. That
being said, like obviously when COVID kind of settled a little bit, this like past summer and theaters opened up and they did their whole Harry Potter marathon. Me and Madison were there every week because they were swapping out the movies and we saw all the movies on the big screen. It was absolutely golden.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
Nice.
It's very sentimental. I always used to love the relationship drama in it and like the teenager stuff because I mean I'm in high school and I'm like I got no teenager drama going on in high school.
Oh man, I had the biggest crush on Hermione Granger. So hard. I'm sure I'm not alone on that one. Yeah.
I was definitely a Draco fangirl. So
A Draco?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Wow.
Is it like
Slick back
the
hair.
the Gorilla Glue hair? Yeah.
I don't know that I would say in this one because
Yeah, fair enough.
but
He gets handsome. I'll give you that. He gets pretty good looking later on.
Hey, like Prisoner of Azkaban, just wait till we get to that. That's like
Is it his looks or is it like how he talks?
It's his definitely persona.
His
Yeah.
aesthetic.
It's it's partly the look too, right? It's like the super white bleached hair bad boy.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember seeing the second one in theaters because I wasn't super invested at this point because I remember I was sitting beside my cousin. This show was sold out because it was opening night. It was like me and my cousin, and then my parents were up here, and then I had another cousin sitting over here, and then my cousin went to the washroom, and I was like, "Okay, we'll come back because I need to go, but I don't want to both go for some reason." And then he went and sat with someone else and he never came back to me. So I sat there having to go to the washroom for like 30 minutes, not watching the movie because I'm like looking for my cousin because I'm like, yo, did you get stabbed?
Who did you sit with? Yeah. You just found some rando?
Yeah.
I will say I don't understand the logic of you can't both go.
You know what?
Someone had to defend the stuff. Is that what it is? Someone's got to sit there.
Someone's got to take the seats.
If this came out it would have been 2002. I would have been 10. So my parents probably said to like not wander or something. So the logic was probably he go and then come back so he knew he was safe. I don't remember the logic. I just
How old was
waited for him to come back. He was only like a year older than me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess still is only a year older than me.
11 and 10-year-olds sent to Harry Potter alone? That's crazy.
No, our parents were there. They just we couldn't get seats together because it was too sold out. So we were sitting in groups of like 2.
Okay, gotcha.
The classic.
The classic. Yeah.
It all seems so distant now with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It is many moons ago.
So yeah, do we want to do like characters or just kind of shoot the shit or what's the preference here?
I was kind of wondering because I feel like the story is not something we really need to dig into. I don't know. It just feels like everyone, maybe it's too much of an assumption to say that everyone's just seen it so many times. But I mean, we were talking about Draco. Let's talk about Draco for a bit. I mean, first of all, his acting is just terrible in this movie. Like seeing it back, is like he's just such an overactor, and I mean, I kind of love it because he's just so evil. I feel like that's just always the Slytherin thing. Is like it almost like doesn't make sense as a house why it's still around. It's like if these people are just like psychopaths, like why don't you like disband this house and like maybe form a new one or something? But I don't know. What do you guys think of Draco as like? I don't know. He's never really like a villain. He's just like the Wario, you know. He's just like the anti-hero. He's just there to be annoying. But I don't know. To me, watching it again like yesterday was just like, man, this guy's acting is. I mean, I'm not bagging on him. He was however old, but
yeah, he was only like 11.
It stuck out to me for sure. I mean, I don't know. You know, it's a different era now with Stranger Things and all these other shows where we talk about kid actors are just on another level now, but not so much back in 2001.
Yeah, I felt like, I mean, just like his introduction, he's like really like who else in Slytherin do we see in this movie? Like it's really just the emphasis on Draco, and then maybe like his lackeys that he's got with him. That's just it's just bodyguards. Like they don't say anything.
Goyle.
Like do they say anything? Yeah, I don't think
they
they have a line. And then like maybe I guess you could say Snape is like the other one, but I just felt like he was just supposed to be like a representative of like Slytherin, you know, like, oh, this is the bad house, you know, or like the bullies are. Like looking back on these movies, especially like after I've seen him like in the later films, just like actually be able to like act, you know, better. Like I do know what you're saying, Dylan. Like it's definitely it's kind of funny to watch. But I mean, like I noticed that with a couple other child actors, even like Harry and Ron. Like there's certain moments where like they're supposed to just kind of be like reacting, like not saying anything, and it just looked so like the director was like, "Kate, do this exactly like this way," and they just like do it so ridiculously, and it's like, again, take it with a grain of salt. They're like fucking 10 or 11-year-olds, whatever they is. But
yeah, it's
definitely looking back on it, I'm like, I thought they were just like Oscar winners when I first watched these guys, you know.
Some of the facial expressions that Potter
Oh
made.
yeah, no, totally. Like what Taylor had in like the starting soon. I love how he's just like,
it's so good.
That's amazing. I feel like with Draco though, one thing that's interesting is like you're already kind of laying. You don't really see his dad. You don't see his dad in this movie, right? But he comes up probably in the second one is when he pops up, right?
Yeah.
And obviously that guy's just on a whole nother level of just totally evil dude. But it's interesting how much like Draco knows about other people, like because he's pretty young here, but he's already like buying into the propaganda, like the Slytherin propaganda, where he like knows who Potter is. He like can pick out who Ron Weasley is just based on like his hair and his look. He like knows does he mention Hermione being like a muggle parents or something? Like he's pretty on his stuff. Like coming in here, he doesn't know these people. It's like his dad like taught him. Here's like all these people. But I mean, he goes in there with some knowledge.
Does he call Hermione a mudblood in this?
I think that was
a second film. Yeah.
I feel like he makes some disparaging comment to her though, and it's probably related to that, right?
I almost want to say like that stuff is in the next film because like right at the beginning when they're in the shop there and he's just like muggle parents, he's like filthy little mudblood or something. Like I feel like that's when he drops the line and everyone's like, oh.
I don't think they really interact much in this. I think it's mostly between like him and Harry and then him and Ron. Yeah.
So I guess that makes a bit more sense since the Weasleys are a bit more of a
like a Wizarding World family.
Well, maybe not famous, but
his dad works with Lucius, right? At the ministry, so.
And like, I mean, Jessica might be able to speak to this, but I almost like look at like the Malfoys and like that sort of thing as like a noble family. I don't know if that's a thing in the Wizarding World, but like they just seem like so deep into the Wizarding World. Obviously, his dad works like the Ministry of Magic, so I really feel like Lucius would have been like grooming Malfoy like very young, you know, to basically be, again, I don't know if what their titles would be, but almost like a lord of the wizard, whatever it might be, because they seem very, you know, like posh on the Wizarding World.
Well, part of it is that pure blood thing, right?
Yeah,
like both his parents are both pure blood, and then he's a pure blood, and
they're all about keeping like the Wizarding, like it should just be pure bloods.
Yeah.
So
I do think it's interesting though that you bring, exactly, that, you know, Ron and his family is all Gryffindor. It's just a line, but yet, you know, Draco doesn't have an older brother that comes home with all this information. So yeah, for him to just, you know all of this it's kind of almost weird and creepy. Like, how does your dad know everything about all these children? And it's
it's just strange.
Like, again, if I'm trying to like play devil's advocate here, like maybe around the dinner table Lucius just like laying in on how fucking stupid the Weasleys are, and like they all have orange hair, they all have hand-me-down robes, you know, like they're just poor, and then like in that moment he's like, of course I know who you are, hand-me-down robe, red hair, you must be a Weasley.
I guess even for Harry, like maybe even if it isn't like this deep knowledge of like what happened in this world, it's that thing that Harry is kind of like the golden boy and all this, and that's kind of where even though Draco's on a different side of the alignment chart, he's still like kind of wants to be in that position. He wants to be like the top dog of the school.
And sorry, Jessica, you go ahead.
He does say too, so I guess the rumors on the train were true. So I mean, if he's hearing that, Harry Potter's here, I mean, probably be looking for the guy that.
Yeah, a lot of gossip starting off right on the train, man. It just doesn't.
I mean, there's no freaking candy for anyone else to buy. I'd be talking about it too.
Asshole, yeah. You guys hear about that asshole that bought all the candy? Yeah,
he took the lot.
Potter, yeah, Harry Potter, just like James, another asshole.
And then he threw the chocolate frog out the window.
Again, like kind of theory crafting here, but I almost feel like like again, I'm just picturing all the Malfoys just around the dinner table, just like gossiping together. But especially since Lucy, again, I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but like Lucius, he's just like always been on Voldemort's team, right? It's not like later on he joins. Yeah. So I feel like, holy shit, can you believe that this boy like was able to repel Voldemort? And like, yeah, they worship Voldemort because he's just ultimate power, but I feel like almost in their eyes, it's like, holy shit, if Potter can like beat him, maybe he's the strongest. Maybe we can like get him on our side, you know, and then the Malfoys can just like become superpower. Again, I'm kind of reading in between the lines there, but like that's quite, I've just seen this movie so many times, and like I've like made my own little headcanons. I got my Potter fan theories online, but no.
I think when it comes to Draco, I think he was just really just spitting out of his ass in this film. Like he's just, again, all these movies,
he's just
like
guessing.
Yeah. He's not even like, he's not, again, when you down the road, when you look at Lucius is very much just kind of like a poser and just kind of acts like top dog, but he's good at acting top dog. With Malfoy, he's really trying to act like top dog, and he just puts it out there like he is, like,
well, he's posturing, right?
Yeah, he's
like,
posturing. Yeah. He's doing his power stance and everything like that. And
well, I mean, you got to think, if you're living at home with this guy who's constantly like, we're pure blood, we're the best, you know, I was Voldemort's right hand man, you know, blah blah blah, you got to develop a little bit of an ego, a god complex, just from your father. So I mean, to come in and to just think that you're the best just because of your blood and your family, and I mean that's what he's kind of trying to do in this whole movie, is just have his pulse on everything, right? Watching Harry while he's in Hagrid's hut, and same thing his dad does, right? Being able to kind of report back.
I love how we're like already talking about Lucius. He's not even in this film, but
well, he plays he's so impressionable on Malfoy. Yeah, I feel like it does make sense to a degree.
It's hard to isolate these movies in a way.
That is true. No, that is true for sure. Just like, again, on the same Malfoy train, when they're like the first time that they go to potions class and Snape comes in, you know, does this little dialogue, just shits all over Harry. Like my teacher did that to me. I'm like new to this entire thing. I like just found out what wizarding was. I would just like bawl. I would just like go to like Moaning Myrtle and just bawl my eyes out, just be so sad. But like in that moment though, I forget specifically what Snape says, but he's basically like, but for those of you who like might have a talent for this, and he literally just like snaps and looks at Malfoy, and then like the camera goes on Malfoy, and he's like, yeah, he's talking about me, you know, like I'm I like literally laughed so hard when I watched that scene, because I feel like I just never noticed that before. Like it's such an emphasis on like Snape's like looking at either like Harry or Hermione or something, and he's just like. And he just like eyeballs with Malfoy. Over. Oh my god, I was laughing so hard. It just seems so like corny. It's like, hey, everyone, know that these are the two bad guys, and they're on the same team. Like it just seems so funny.
Yeah.
On that note, because I do have a note about that same part. Can you imagine being Harry? You've known about the wizarding world for like 2 days, and this guy's just in your face, sprouting off words of things you've never heard of, and just like, I don't know. It's kind of like if you had gone to a different country, like go to Japan, and all of a sudden these people just get in your face and start yelling at you in Japanese, you'd be like, what the fudge is going on?
I would have been crying. I would have like went to the bathroom.
Not to mention that Harry,
and he's taking notes too. Come on, man.
Yeah. And I mean, not to mention that he didn't have parents, and he was like abused his whole life. Like it's pretty traumatic beginning. Holy shit. I feel like you don't really, I didn't really like think about that so much as a kid, but it's like it's pretty brutal. And yeah, as you're saying, like he just gets here to the school, and there's already like, you know, Draco's up his ass. Snape's got some random vendetta against him for no reason, at least no reason that he can know for a few years yet.
Maybe that's why he thinks he can like handle it. He knows Harry's been abused his whole life. He's like, oh, you can handle a little bit more. It'll groom you. Yeah, it'll groom you into the man we need you to be.
Oh my god. Don't say that. That's terrible.
And like, we didn't even talk about like the aunt and uncle in the beginning, but yeah, like I feel like I never realized when he's like, if you one step out of line, no food for a week. Like you're gonna fucking starve this child. Like how skinny was Harry when he showed up to platform 9 3/4? This boy's been like starved for most of his life.
On that note, and I've been joking with Madison like a lot lately. The whole point where he's like, it's his birthday, and he's like, How many are there? 36. Counted them myself.
36.
36. Last year, 37. Some of them were bigger than last year. What a shit. What
That's
a
gonna be your
horrible
kid.
shit.
That's gonna be your kid, Taylor.
The pile of toys I was looking at, one of them is like a truck that it looks like I would buy Mordecai, like a 2-year-old, and I'm like, what are even these gifts?
Just like
So
random.
bigger than last year.
Quantity over quality for sure on those gifts.
It's always like that. The acting too in that scene is so funny because like that same line that you said, Taylor, he's like last year. Like in a normal actor would like put a comma or like a little pause there. Last year, pause. Last year, but he just says it all like all.
It's like he's reading a teleprompter in that moment.
Yeah, he's reading off that teleprompter big time. Oh my god. Yeah, I love that. That scene just always stuck with me with all the mail coming through, all the owls. I love that part right there. But yeah, I mean the beginning part is traumatic. I've always found it like a bit sad when Harry's just playing with the little horse and he just like under his stairs. I don't know. That scene's always stuck with me. He just looks bored out of his mind.
No windows.
So
Oh, I know. And then like that ties in. I mean, it's not really till later when they go to like that random island when it's like his birthday and like
God, that
like
place.
Dude, like that
on the rock for 5 weeks.
It's like Azkaban. It's like the Muggle Azkaban. But anyways, like that was pretty much the moment that like my mom was reading for me, and I'm just like bawling that no one showed up for his birthday. He gets no gifts. Nobody celebrates for him, and I'm like. Because of that moment, I just always get sad in that scene. Like, obviously, Hagrid.
Yeah, especially as a kid, that idea is like a dramatic thing you can imagine. Right?
How do you get to that island in the first place? There's no way you can take a little boat out there.
Warzone. They take an AC-130 and they jump out with their parachute.
In the books, they do take a boat.
Okay.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
My God.
Yeah, with those high, they have to do it on a good day without too much
Holy
wind,
crap! Yeah,
you're just dead.
There's not even like a lighthouse on that island. Like
No.
ships must just crash into that thing 24/7.
Like, they didn't obviously have internet. Like, if I remember correctly, I can't remember like what Mr. Dursley's job is, but like, is he just like quitting his job and just like relocating there? Like,
do they mention what his job is? Like,
I think I saw it. I googled it.
Jessica would know this.
I don't.
This is going to come up in Harry Potter trivia.
They do say it in the book, but I don't remember what it is.
He's probably like an accountant or
he's a former student of Smelting's Academy and the director of Grunning's Drill Manufacturing.
Whoa!
Oh, there you go.
That's
he's got money.
That's a 6-digit job, I would say.
Well, I can't imagine the mom works. I figured that she was just like a stay-at-home mom, whatever her name is.
Petunia.
Petunia. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh my God, her in that scene too on that island, man. Oh my God, that's brutal. How like vicious and
she goes in. Oh my gosh, it's like, it's like perfect little. Whatever.
What's
her,
what's
her
the way
name?
she even like
Had a witch
the
in the family.
Yeah.
I saw for what she really was.
A car crash. A car crash. Yeah, Hagrid's just freaking out.
We're laughing at Harry's trauma. I feel that. He makes it past it. So
yeah, exactly. He resolves. Yeah, I don't know. We were jumping all around there. Jessica, you want to jump in at any point?
We've touched a lot of different things that I definitely have comments on many of them. I'm going to jump back to him living at the Dursleys.
Yes, please.
There's kind of going on. So this is the first time I think I've actually really watched this one with subtitles. So normally I'll just put it on and sit on my phone. And this time I put on subtitles and I was, like I said, making notes. And so there's one point where Dudley gets his like new school uniform and he's just like, oh my God, am I going to have to wear that? She's just like, no, you'll wear his old one as soon as I'm done dyeing it. And Harry goes, that's going to be like elephant skin. And
whoa.
So the comment got me. But the second piece of that is he's asking about wearing this uniform. Has Harry not gone to school for 11 years? She's just like, no, you're going to go to a state school. It's just like, has he not gone to a state school since he was 5?
So he's 11. I think grade 1 is like what, 6? Like when you start going
kindergarten.
Grade 1?
Yeah, it's 5 years different.
5, yeah.
I don't know what it's like in the UK though, what their education system is.
You think you don't start school until age 11?
I mean, I don't know what it's like back in the 80s and in the UK. I mean,
well, that actually brings up. Sorry, Jessica, if you had more points around that point, but that was something I was wondering in Hogwarts. I guess 11 is like a little bit older, but do they take normal classes there, like mathematics?
Oh,
or,
hell no.
I mean, I'm sure they have like a equivalent social studies, but I don't know. Do they take like just basic classes like that? Like, could you take a physics class at Hogwarts?
It's probably like Muggle-matics or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, again, Jessica might have an actual answer for here, so I'm just speaking out of my own headcanon and what I believe. Like, I almost feel like maybe they have like a magic way to just explain like differently like how physics works. Like, okay, like the Muggles thinks, physics is this, but we know
But it's bullshit.
Yeah, like we know the truth. Like we know, like I don't know, maybe they have a different reason for what gravity is. Maybe there's little invisible goblins that pull you down, like whatever it might be.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really that. Like,
that's not canon. Everyone that's listening to this.
Well, no, I mean, obviously that would not be fun to write about or read about necessarily. But I'm just kind of curious, like what, like, do they have like an English class where you learn how to read and write better? I don't know. Like that's just
and like
obviously learn how to use a quill pen, I guess. But maybe that's just a natural thing.
True. It's just a British thing. Yeah.
Everyone in Britain just
Just good, if it's actually if they have mathematics and stuff like that.
In Hogwarts?
Yeah.
I don't think so because
why waste time with mathematics?
No kidding.
I mean, they have like a whole section of the Ministry of Magic dedicated to like learning about Muggles. So obviously they don't teach a lot of.
They don't. Yeah. That's why their architecture is like all like asymmetrical because they like nobody knows math, so they're just like, I think that works, and then
I mean,
I'm flick of the wand, it's fixed.
I think they have. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I think they have like a Muggle studies, but I don't think they have.
I feel like that sounds familiar to me as well. Yeah.
Well, that's what.
That's what the dumb kids do. They don't go to magic.
Mr. Weasley is like Muggle studies, is he not?
Yeah. So. In the British school system, it looks like secondary school starts at age 11, so it would just be a new.
Okay.
Like high school, they're just like they know all math, they know all English going into not even grade 11, age 11.
Well, they have primary school is age 5 to 10, and then 11 to 17 is secondary school.
I see.
So that makes sense why that would be the thing.
Yeah, that does make sense.
I mean, why wouldn't I? I should have looked that up before I brought it up.
At that point in your life, after that, it's just like algebra and like X's and Y's. Like that's not real. Like that's
yeah. No, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Jessica, do you have other notes for like the earlier?
Sure do.
Shout out. I was gonna say, since she's looking at her notes here, like when they go to the zoo and. Who's the snake? That's not Nagini, is it? It's just some random snake. Yeah, okay.
It was Voldemort.
So that snake, when it goes out and it just like speaks to him in like English, I started like questioning that the more I would watch this film because I'm like, every other time like they actually speak in like parcel, so you like the user can't hear. Like, is that just supposed to be like in Harry's mind? Like he's just translating for the viewers to make it nice and easy. Okay, yeah. I kind of gave it like I don't know a wave because it's just like. Emphasizing the scene of like he can actually speak to snakes.
So this,
I just thought it was kind of weird that it's like the one time that a snake speaks in English. Yeah,
it'll come up in the second one. There's a scene where he's talking, and he's going, "What are you talking about? I was just telling the snake not to attack the other student." And they're like, "No, you were not just saying that. You were. It sounded like you were egging him on. You were speaking parcel tongue."
Yeah.
So, no, he. I was gonna say it. And I have it in my note that it is just a nod to him being able to speak snake. I mean, at this point, had you not actually seen any of the other movies?
Mm-hmm. No, right.
I forget in that scene in the second movie, is he speaking weird language or is he speaking English?
Okay. Speaking parcel tongue.
So it's not parcel. So in the first movie, it's like from Harry's perspective. In the second movie, it's like not.
Can you imagine though, like in like there's just another version where you're seeing it from like their perspective, like Hermione's, where he's like egging him on. It's like fucking kill him. It's just like Harry, Jesus.
I like how you like clutch your robe, like your nightgown. Oh my god!
I keep getting revealed. I'm sorry, users.
Yeah, that is. You're going to be on the GeekVerse OnlyFans soon enough.
I have to set the content to M-rated when I put this on YouTube.
I thought we were. We were already.
So then another thing I wanted to shout out in that very beginning part, kind of with the letters, is there's two parts. One, I don't remember her actually cracking eggs and like pulling letters out of it. So I don't know why I've missed that the last 20 times I've watched it, but
yeah,
Wait,
I don't remember that part that you just mentioned.
I don't remember that either.
Which is interesting because there was actually a couple scenes that I just don't think I ever like remember seeing at all. The other one is like when Neville comes in like a leg locked. Like I don't remember seeing that like ever before. I swear to God. Like I think that's when he's like reading the paper maybe. Oh no, sorry. That's when Hermione's studying for like the finals, and then Ron's just like counting his Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You know, they're looking for the Gandalf one.
Big crossover.
The Dumbledore one. But yeah, I swear to God, I do not remember Neville ever coming in like leg locked spell. He's just been like, yeah, being bullied by the bad guy Malfoy.
Maybe you watch like an extended version. What's going on?
That's okay. Here? I was thinking that because I'm like, I swear to God, I have a different version. And
those two scenes you just mentioned, aren't familiar to me.
Yeah.
Either.
Do either of you remember that scene that I'm talking about when Neville's leg locked? Yeah. Taylor? And
I honestly don't.
And then in your version, what did they call like the stone? Because in mine they called it the Sorcerer's Stone, and I always remember it being called like the Philosopher's Stone.
Dude, you must have watched like the British version.
Mandela effect, man.
Or wait, no, the Sorcerer's Stone.
That would be the North American version if it's saying sorcerer.
What the heck?
Yeah, okay, that's weird because there was a couple scenes that I'm like, this is new. Like this is totally different from what I remember. Okay,
weird.
Jessica, you may speak now. I'm done.
I'm tripping out here.
No, I totally remember the leg lock scene. So I don't know. I don't remember the egg scene. So I don't know where if mine is. But there's one scene she's like making breakfast. She's like trying to make pancakes and she's cracking eggs, and then there's letters just folded up inside the shells instead of actual eggs. And I don't remember that at all from any of the times I've watched it. So,
dude, I don't know if I'm going crazy. I don't remember that either.
Yeah,
maybe you guys watched a different version, like than me and Taylor watched. It sounds like
mine was definitely. They say Philosopher's Stone in it.
Oh, they did. They said Philosopher.
I'm
not
pretty
Sorcerer?
Confident they said Philosopher's Stone. If I remember, that's what I recall.
Yeah. So in mine, I guarantee, like I know for a fact they said Sorcerer's Stone, and then on my credits though, or sorry, not my credits, my closed captions, like my subtitles, it had Philosopher's Stone. And I'm also like, I just found this on Reddit. Someone apparently said in the potions class in the UK version, Harry says, I think Hermione knows the answer. Why don't you try her? And then apparently in the US version, he says, clearly Hermione knows the answer. You ought to ask her. So like, I don't know, but like, am I just tripping out there? Or are other people tripping out there? Because like, why would they like, like film two different scenes there? Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe a reshoot. Yeah, things, right.
Yeah, so the one it's weird actually. So if I'm looking at the source I watched it on. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is the title, but then the picture is Philosopher's Stone. So I'm guessing it would be the Sorcerer's Stone, but maybe, I don't know, dude. I'm tripping out now.
I am tripping out.
So I looked for my scene. It was a deleted scene. So the version that I watched just had a deleted scene in it.
Yeah, no wonder I didn't recognize that. I don't think I've ever watched any special features or any deleted scenes for any of these movies. I'm a vanilla canon boy here.
Yeah, because maybe that leg lock scene wasn't extended, because I don't really remember seeing that scene either. Yeah. And that's so trippy.
No two copies are the same of this movie. It's all different.
Yeah. each copy is one of one.
In case anyone wants to,
it's like a my copy.
Later.
Malfoy was Hufflepuff.
Yeah, I'll check that out later.
Yeah, Malfoy is Hufflepuff in your version.
Completely different. Yeah. That's trippy.
Yeah.
Okay, continuing on.
Yeah.
Also, in the beginning piece, I always, after there was that meme that was like, it's very obvious why Harry wasn't Ravenclaw, because he doesn't just bend down and pick up a freaking letter off the floor. And now every time I watch it, I look at all the letters everywhere and I laugh, and I'm just like, are you fucking just bend down, pick one up? Like,
You gotta let one. You gotta grab one from the air. It's like being in the money box, right? The glass box with the dollar bills. You know, you gotta.
Speaking of that, I mean, that's a classic topic. What house are you guys? Do you see yourself in? Where would you? I mean, I guess it's like you pick which house you want to be in. So what do you think you would pick?
I mean, Gryffindor.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, I hate to be that guy, but
they got plot armor.
Gryffindor. Yeah, exactly. It's like I would get the sword of Godric Gryffindor. I would defeat the Basilisk.
You're not dying in any of the
Voldemort.
movies.
No, not at all. I'm not even getting wounded. Actually, I have a 6-pack the entire film. No shirt.
Getting healthier, yeah. Taylor.
I mean, I feel like I always let Jessica tell me which house I'm in. I feel like you said I was Gryffindor, Jessica, or what was the house? Because you always labeled me in a house. I can't remember which one it was.
She labeled you.
I don't. If anything, I could see you probably being a Hufflepuff.
I'd take a Hufflepuff.
They're
Dude,
like
Cedric.
Yeah, they're the creative ones, relaxed.
I'd be down.
I feel like
Damn,
with your
like
career
me.
choice and all the editing, designing, and then even your fiance photography, and then doing editing for that as well. You feel very creative.
Have you not done Pottermore? I feel like
No.
everyone's done that at
I
this
have,
point.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
You say that, but you just said that you assigned yourself Gryffindor. Have you not done Pottermore?
Well, I haven't
Well,
done
if
it,
you
but I just
if you listen to Harry,
I just felt like
you have a choice.
I
The Sorting
told
Hat.
the Sorting Hat. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Travis says that he's a Gryffindor. I think through Pottermore, but I think that's
He's
bullshit. There's
Slytherin.
No
Yeah.
way.
No,
He's
he's
not.
Slytherin.
He
hell
is a
chance.
Voldemort loyalist, like true and true, betrays all of his friends and family.
You know what's
He's the
funny?
one
A bit of a
peeping through the
Slytherin that he
window.
can hide in the shadows, and pretend he's something that he's not. I feel like I always say that I'm Ravenclaw, but I feel like, and Jessica, not to call you out here because I think you also identify with Ravenclaw, but I feel like a lot of people say this because Ravenclaw is like the cool, like smart people. And I feel like it's not actually me. That's just like who I want to be, you know? I feel like now that we're talking about this, I'm like, I kind of identify with Hufflepuff. That's where I want to be.
You're just Hagrid. Just no house, no magic, just lives in a hut.
Wow. Is he a Hufflepuff?
He went to Hogwarts as a student. He was expelled, right? So he would have been a house.
I think he was
Oh,
Gryffindor.
right.
Gryffindor.
Classic.
Classic, yeah. All the Gryffindors just like assimilate together.
But when I did do
They think they're
Pottermore,
better than everyone else.
I did get Ravenclaw. But I feel like, I don't know,
It was
Ravenclaw,
Gryffindor.
there's just so little content for Ravenclaw in the movies that
Yeah.
like who's Ravenclaw? Is
Well-
Luna the Ravenclaw?
Luna, Harry Potter's
Ho
like
Chang.
girlfriend. Yeah, Ho Chang.
Not
that's-
Ho, it's Cho.
And Ho. Well, she's a ho.
Cho.
Let me tell you. Soon as
Definitely
Cedric
not the
meets
same
dust,
character.
who does she go crawling to?
That's the
chosen
girl
one.
from
Yeah.
Slytherin.
Jesus.
Oof. So
I'm kidding, Chang. You're not a hoe. I'm sorry if you're watching this.
just gotta defend yourself.
Yeah.
In order of like the popularity, anytime you're trying to basically do any type of merch or anything like that, it's Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff is always the kind of forgotten house.
Shit.
Yeah.
Gryffindor values courage, bravery, nerve, and chivalry. Hufflepuff values hard work, patience, justice, and loyalty. Ravenclaw is intelligence, learning, wisdom, and wit. And Slytherin is ambition, cunning, leadership, and resourcefulness.
Resourcefulness.
I like resourcefulness.
That's definitely
you-
Travis. I'm not
What was
seeing
Hu-
any
what was
chivalry
Hufflepuff
from
again?
him.
What was Hufflepuff?
Hard work, patience, justice, and loyalty.
Damn, dude, that is me. Okay, I'm
Dude,
I'm
yeah.
all I've switched houses. I'm out of
Patient in the shadows. Yeah.
there. I like that.
So
Mutants.
yeah, I am Ravenclaw. I'm not switching that now. I've got it tattooed on my arm.
kidding.
so-
Yeah, you're locked in. You know.
Can you
Yeah.
Imagine showing up to the sorting house and or the sorting hat.
You
And, like,
already got tattoos.
you got your tat, and he's like, Hufflepuff. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Come on.
So 2 pieces on
He
this.
doesn't even say house. He's like, you'll work with Mr. Phil, whatever his name is. You clean the floor.
Mr. Filch. The crazy cat man. Holy crap. Oh.
Oh gosh.
On like the sorting hat, when all these kids arrive and So McGonagall's just like, in a few minutes, you'll be sorted into your houses, you know, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Slytherin. And there's kind of two questions I have about that. It's like, one, besides Harry, wouldn't all of these students know the houses?
Like who they are.
Yeah. And secondly, if you're just going to say their name, like, you're not going to explain what they're about or anything to these students. Like, either you got to assume they know something or they don't. Like,
well, isn't it that they, like, you have a place you want to go to inherently, but you, like, the hat can read your mind essentially, but the kids don't know that, right?
But that's what I mean. Like, you would think McGonagall would be like, you know, in a minute you'll be sorted into your houses, and then leave it at that, because parents have obviously told them about what the houses are. Or alternatively be like, we're going to sort you into your houses, which are Gryffindor, which is this, this, and this. Yes, Kirklin.
Do they explain that in the novels? Like when McGonagall's like bringing them all up, or is it like already been said of like not like when they're not speaking from first person? Yeah, exactly. Like Hogwarts, you know, has 4 houses, and then
that's interesting.
Let's find out.
I feel like I feel like the movies
choose your own adventure
until later on, like, never go into Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw, and maybe that's just like it's easier for a movie viewer or someone who's younger to have like just a binary good and bad, and that's kind of all the characters, you know, fall in there anyway. So what's the point of wasting mind space on what Ravenclaw values if it doesn't matter?
I remember what happens. There's a poem. The Sorting Hat says a big poem before they get sorted. That's what it is.
After he speaks, everyone's just like snapping in the crowd. Like,
maybe they even recorded that, but then it just didn't make the edit. I mean, I was surprised, dude. I was like, oh, this movie's probably like hour 50 or something. It's 2.5 hours, so
2:38.
So that right there.
Look at that.
Poem.
That's a sizable poem too.
He did not say that in the movie. Not in the version I had. Maybe the version Taylor had.
Yeah, so like it does things. You might belong in Gryffindor, where dwell the brave at heart. Their daring, nerve, and chivalry set Gryffindor apart. You might belong in Hufflepuff, where they're just loyal. These patient Hufflepuffs are true and unafraid of toil. Or yet wise old Ravenclaw, if you have a ready mind, with those of wit and learning, will always find their kind. Perhaps in Slytherin you'll make real friends. Those cunning folks use any means to achieve their ends. So that's when they get to learn about the houses. Is the Sorting Hat is still sitting on the chair.
That description right there. Like, if I was just a viewer or like an observer in the crowd, I'm like, that's the bad guy house. Like, just that last part that he said. It's just
and the fact that it's last.
So sus. Yeah, exactly.
I feel like Hufflepuff's description is that's horrible description in there. Like that, no one would want to be there.
If you're not in the first 3 houses, you'll just end up in Hufflepuff.
Exactly. You belong in Hufflepuff, where they're just and loyal. Those patient Hufflepuffs are true and unafraid of toil.
I thought you said
what is toil?
Loyal. Just loyal.
That's what I thought. I was like, that's lame. But
just and loyal.
There you go. That makes more sense.
What does toil mean? Sorry.
Like double bubble boil and trouble, you know, witches things, you know, it's like bad news. It's like bad news.
Double bubble boiled trouble. Is that a gum flavor? I'm up for it.
It's like, if you get no 4 houses, you'll be is he even a professor? Mr. Filch?
No, he's the caretaker.
Yeah.
Toil is to work extremely hard. They're not afraid of hard work.
There's one kid in each freshman class that gets sorted to the Mr. Filch role. Mr. Filch is like, finally, I've been free. You know, he just disappears. A new kid just
turns into a ghost. Oh, speaking of ghosts, let's talk about the ghosts for a minute.
Before we go there, I just one last thing on the Sorting Hat. When Harry has the hat on him and he's just like, not Slytherin, not Slytherin, not Slytherin, and then, you know, the hat's just not Slytherin, eh? Like, imagine just being some kid in Slytherin and just being like, well, fuck that guy. Like, what's so wrong about him? I'm not Malfoy. I'm not a Voldemort loyalist. I'm just cunning, you know, and I'm resourceful. Like, fuck that guy dissing my house. And like, also, sidebar, imagine if you're just like, actually, I guess 11's a little early. I was gonna say, if you're just like, at that age, you're getting just random boners, and you're like, fuck, I hope no one sees this boner right now. And then the Sorting Hat's just like, not trying to hide your boner, eh? Anyways, these are the thoughts I have when I watch these movies.
Well, the thing I laughed at too is he goes Gryffindor, and all the Gryffindors stand up and clap, and then 10 minutes later in the movie,
like, fuck yeah.
Then 10 minutes later in the movie, it's like, you just lost 50 points for Gryffindor. And it's just like, look at all you dumb fucks being happy he's part of your team.
But then he popped off in the end, so I mean, it all comes
That
back.
was the biggest bullshit like sweep at the end. Anyways, we'll get there when we talk.
It was, and I mean, quick sidebar on that. Like, I love that after that happens, Hagrid does like a little like pop off, and I don't know, it's just like it's like a half a second shot, but it's golden. But okay, so the ghosts, I mean, they're really interesting. I feel like maybe I'm just not remembering. Obviously, there's Moaning Myrtle, but I feel like other than her, I just feel like the ghosts don't ever come back. I don't know. I don't really recall them in the future movies.
They kind of have a role in the next film, like with the basilisk.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right with the like pictures, whatever it is.
And
they continue in Goblet of Fire. You get Moaning Myrtle returning, and then again in the last, the 7th movie, part 2, you get I cannot remember her name.
Okay, I'm probably wrong. I guess it's just like they're really trying to highlight it at the beginning here when like all of them come out to pop off during like dinner, and I feel like that doesn't really happen again.
They're more prominent in the books, I believe, is what Madison told me. Much more.
Yeah, I can't recall from the ones I read, but one really strange moment to me was this. I can't remember what part exactly it is, but it's the scene when McGonagall's like in her classroom, just like writing some stuff. And then Harry, Ron, and Hermione come talk to her about something. And there's a ghost in one of the seats. It's an empty classroom, except for this one ghost who's there, like doing some work or something. And I was like, "What's going on here? Like, is this ghost studying of some course? Is this like a one-on-one course? What? I don't know. It was very strange to me.
It's a student that worked themselves to death and like literally just became a ghost in that moment.
They're still there,
trapped there for all eternity, studying.
It's detention. He's in detention with McGonagall, and he just died. Yeah, bringing out the Tums. Shouts out to Tums.
Shouts to Tums. Also shouts to how kind of grotesque the nearly headless Nick scene is when he just rips his head off to show that
nearly headless. How can you be nearly headless? Like this. I also I feel like I'd never realized that actor. Like I've seen him in so many different things. I forget his name, but like I just feel like I forgot that he was like Sir Nicholas. But yeah. Good actor. Yeah, he's like I've seen him in like Rat Race,
Monty Python.
Monty Python.
Pink Panther.
Yeah, Pink Panther.
I forget his name too. Or it's John Cleese, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. Shouts out to the Adam Hart caster for that one.
You're welcome.
That was one of the things I had in here too, is I really don't understand why they put so much effort into the ghosts in this movie, not to follow through with it in any of the other ones.
Yeah.
In the books, I mean, they have a really big part in the books. Like there's one, like they do a whole ghost. There's a chapter all about a ghost birthday party. And Peeves is one of the ghosts that like he's constantly causing problems, and he affects a lot of different pieces in the book. And so the way that they lead this up, you would think that it's going to be a huge part because they've created all these characters and cast all these ghosts, and then it's just there's nothing with them.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I feel like maybe they had this plan to like emphasize the ghosts because it's a big part of the books. It sounds like I've never read them, so I can't really attest to that. But like maybe it's just like a budgetary thing, like trying to like CGI all these like ghostly characters, and they're like, maybe it's just better to just cut this out and emphasize more like different parts of the movies.
I think it might even be the opposite of that, where they're like, oh, look at how cool we can make these ghosts look. Let's fucking pop off with this in this movie. Is the first one, and they thought the tech at the time was really great, and they just wanted to show that off a bunch. And then when it became less important, they just didn't really do it in the future for the reasons. But maybe that's why they did so much of it here, because they really liked the look of it, and maybe they just went all in on it since they had that.
Yeah, like it looked good, like for a movie 2001.
It still holds up. That part of it holds up.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like I liked around the Christmas time when Ron and Harry are playing Wizard's Chess, and like the ghosts are just like kind of singing like Christmas carols. Again, I had like subtitles on this time, like Jessica. I don't normally have those on for like just when I watch these films, but like they were singing like a carol regarding like Hogwarts, and like it was just like a very snippet, but it was just like just fleshing out the world by like giving this like very subtle like little like folk song. I don't know. I just really appreciate it at the time. I missed it every other time I've seen this film, but because I remember them being like Merry Christmas, Merry, and like they're doing that, but then they throw in the little again, I can't even paraphrase it because I don't remember what it was.
Jingle.
Something about like Hogwarts and not like Hogwarts, like it's something else. I just really like that.
How did you guys feel the effects and CGI held up now that we're watching this in 2021?
Yeah, like I just shouted out the ghosts. I thought they looked good. There was a lot of like really bad ones, like specifically when like Neville's like on his broom, and his whole body is just a CGI character, and like they show
his face
very
scary. Honestly.
It's like what's that film? Polar Express. Like you know that one. Like
he went just full Polar Express mode.
He looked like one of those characters for sure.
Yeah, you never go full Polar Express. Yeah.
No, you never go full. Maybe half, maybe 70%, but definitely not full. And like I shouted out the ghosts. Like there is a lot of good moments in here, especially for a film that's so like magical. You know, I think they had a lot of good stuff, but those moments really slacked there. Even like I think when Harry's like on like the troll. Again, same thing. Like his face is just like pastel, and it's just like.
I thought the troll in general was really good still.
Yep.
For some of the green screens too. That's actually like a Lord of the Rings. So you can go back and watch some of those green screens, and it's like, oh, this is brutal.
The lighting, yeah. No, for sure. What do you guys think, Taylor?
As far as it goes, CGI wise, I mean, there was a lot of good and like minuscule bad in this film. I mean, at the time, like. Little Taylor's not going to notice and be like, the CGI is so bad.
Yeah,
full Polar Express.
Great. Yeah, the one you're in the theater. You're like, fuck this movie.
Yeah, no, it's great, and it's just everything else just kind of. I love how they did the broom and the Quidditch, everything like that. It was just fabulous. The troll. Again, I really, really like when movies have a really good balance between what is practical effects and what is CGI. And I feel like Harry Potter is one of those great examples where you have a perfect blend of the two. Again, that troll scene, it was very well done because it was just the way they had it, like the troll was knocked out and Harry's pulling his wand out of its face. And it's just like it just physically, its reactions looked real, even though it's just animatronic and everything like that. But it was executed well. Them on the brooms, aside from Neville, I really, really liked. I liked a lot of that stuff. Yeah, it was really, really.
Are you telling me that the troll is not 100% CGI?
Okay, if it is, I'd be flabbergasted. But when it's laying on the ground,
when it's laying on the ground,
wasn't.
I think
CGI.
it's
okay. I'd have to go back to that exact moment
because I remember like actually like thinking like, man, like the people that did the model for this thing, like attention to detail, exquisite, because it like it didn't look fuzzy, like it looked like it was actually there.
Nice.
Like I mean, like when he's like, oh, like that's CGI, definitely.
Yeah.
He's not a transformer.
And the troll bogies. Oh, I always like cringe when Harry like wipes it on his like.
Why
on
would
his
you
fucking
do
robe.
that?
Like at least do Ron's. At least do Ron's or something. Like while he's not looking, you know.
Or you're like you're in a bathroom. Like rinse it off.
Yeah.
Troll bogies. And also shouts out to Professor Quirrell. Quirrell?
Quirrell.
Troll in the dungeon.
Oh, that's a
classic. I love that scene.
And he just,
Don't
like,
you want to know?
Just
So bad.
Oh, it's awesome.
So what about the one too? Because they introduce him in this one and then just kind of drop him off the face of the planet, similar to the ghost. But the centaurs as well get to meet.
Friends.
You notes about that, yeah.
Friends. I never knew that was his name until I had the subtitles on. I'm like, oh shit, that's dope.
He looks pretty good until you get like just that shot of his face.
When they it's like a close up between him and Harry, and I swear like the dubbing is like off. It's like delayed or something. Like his lips are, and it looks so like hard. Like it's like just not plaster paper mache. Like that's what he looked like. And
at least it was dark in that scene.
At least it was dark for sure. And yeah.
I had a couple questions about this centaur because correct me if I'm wrong, do centaurs ever come up in any of the movies or books again after this?
I think they do. Yeah.
When do they come up again? Because this guy's got really solid English. This guy in particular knows who Voldemort is. He knows who Harry is. He knows that the Philosopher's Stone is inside the castle. So he has some crazy intel. And I'm wondering why these guys don't have a bigger role in the story. Like maybe there's just not many of them. But they seem like a pretty advanced race.
I think it was the fifth film had more centaurs.
Yeah, I was
Back
gonna
part.
say.
The fifth
I
one.
think he's in the.
But Jessica would know.
Yeah, that's
more
where
than
I get
would.
fuzzy, so I don't remember that part.
Well,
There's
it's
actually like a centaur professor in the books.
Whoa, really?
oh damn.
Yeah, I think it's astronomy,
I guess they didn't
astrology.
stick with that for the CGI maybe concerns of it.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. It's like similar to the ghost, where they just bring them up in this one and then kind of forget that it's part of the world after that.
And I don't think it's in the movies, but in the books, do they explain like why they're like kind of just hiding in the woods? Like obviously they're like horsemen, so like maybe they just like running free, or is there like actually like a reason why they're away from the castle?
I'm curious on the like if they're civilized or if they're on speaking terms with
because
people. You know?
Yeah, and like I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but like when I think it's Order of the Phoenix, because they end up like taking that lady away. The bitch, whatever her name is.
Umbridge or whatever.
Yeah, and like she's basically saying like you guys are in violation of blah blah blah. It might have been her rule that she made up in that film, but it almost seemed like there was like some sort of like the ministry like kind of banished them like away from the grounds. Again, maybe I'm just headcanon.
Yeah, because when I was watching this last night, I was like, man, this centaur guy. He's fucking on point, but like, where are more of them? And
he knows his shit.
There could be.
He's
a
like
Malfoy.
He's got all his intel. Gets it from Lucius.
Yeah.
Red hair, hand-me-down robe. I guess Ron wasn't there, was he? It was just. Oh no, he was. Oh my god,
he was. You imagine
he
he just breaks out into that. You must be a Weasley.
So, just
Malfoy
to
rides him away.
So he taught divination after Trelawney was fired from Umbridge, and then he continues to teach afterwards, and then he was injured in the Battle of Hogwarts, so he's still relevant.
Yeah,
from 5.
So they're
onwards.
They're so civilized. I wonder if they have, their own towns or cities, because obviously they're not in the real world, so maybe they have their own places where they live, because it's not like they live in Hogsmeade or something like that. Like maybe they just live out in the woods or something like that. But they seem civilized. You would think they would have some sort of developed society in some way.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe they just don't have the numbers.
Very nice. So
it says that he's a centaur. It was a colony in the Forbidden Forest.
There you go.
So I guess that's just where they live, just in the forest.
So I'm curious to see them again later in the movies, because that's something I really don't remember at all. And I kind of like, because he's so briefly in this one, I almost forget that centaurs exist in this.
It's really you get like a little tiny piece of it in 5, and that's I think it. Even I don't even remember that he's shown in the Battle of Hogwarts in the movie. I don't think.
Probably not. Yeah,
which is kind of a shame, because it's just like more magical stuff, like just jam pack that in there.
Too. It's like it's just extra stuff that you don't really need, I guess.
It could just be maybe his English is so well just from communicating with Hagrid, being the keeper of the grounds, and that was his into Hogwarts.
So do you think that's why he would know about this stone and that it's in the castle? Because that seems that happened recently, right? Like
Hagrid's just bored.
Yeah, but Hagrid's got kind of like loose lips.
Oh, definitely.
I should not have told you.
Yeah. No, I mean that is a perfect solution for that. It makes sense that he would talk to the centaur about it, I guess. So there you go.
So I mean, because he is kind of like, banned is not the right word, but he's like an outcast for going into the human world to teach magic, or to like teach at Hogwarts.
Like from his own kind, like the centaur. Oh, okay.
I see. Interesting.
So, but yeah, that was another one. It bugged me. I'm just like, why would you bring it up just to not? Like, I do get that he saves him from Voldemort, from the unicorn blood, but you could easily have like Hagrid run back up, or Fang, or someone.
Hagrid just like headshots Voldemort
with his umbrella.
The entire. Oh no, he's got a crossbow, doesn't he?
He does.
I was thinking of like his little fireball umbrella.
Gives him one of those. Yeah, just like roll credits. The entire series is over. Also, since I'm just shouting out ridiculous things in this retro, I saw a hilarious meme that made me laugh so hard, because I thought of it when this happened. It's like Hagrid like feels the unicorn blood, and the meme's like, unicorn come, and he's just like the way he's feeling it. Oh yeah, shouts out to ridiculous memes, and that's
Kirklin,
what makes
you're fucking.
It's the
feeling
robe.
Fired up.
It's the robe, yeah.
It's the robe. Oh no.
M-rated cast right here.
Oh yeah.
After
I gotta
9.
get this energy. I got
We did start recording
another
at 9,
cast.
so that's
Got another
just,
cast after this too.
On the note of Voldemort, I just want to shout out. I always loved how he looked. He's full Sith Lord in this movie. I love how he's just
100%.
looking. And I remember my mom took me to this Harry Potter like games club. And it was just a bunch of like fans of Harry Potter and everything. I was like, you know what? It was like dress up as your Harry Potter character and stuff. I was like, I want to dress up as Voldemort. And I had a Grim Reaper costume. I put it on and I showed up and everyone's like, who are you? You're not a Harry Potter character. I'm like, I'm Voldemort. Like, no, you're not.
Yeah, get the fuck out of
Oh,
here.
God.
It's all like 25-year-olds. You're just like Lil Taylor showing up.
I was definitely early double digits.
That's hilarious. Early double digits. What, 10?
Yeah.
Harry's age.
Oh.
Yeah. Are we done with the force?
Sure.
I have a question since you brought up Voldemort. So when he goes and Harry, when he goes into like the forbidden part of the library and he finds the book Nicholas Flamel, and like that face is like stuck in the book, does that have any like relevance to like how Voldemort is just like attached to Quirrell? No, because
Probably not.
like his
Maybe
face
like a
just
foreshadow.
like it just looks so similar to like the way like I don't know, like I was maybe like wondering like, oh, is there like a secret on how he's just attached to this man, or is just never spoken about in ever?
No, it wouldn't make sense because that's about Nicholas Flamel. That's about the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah, but
extending
why
life,
did
all
that
kind of
face
stuff.
like jump scare at him?
But
Like,
that
what was the
wouldn't-
point of that?
That wouldn't have any relevance to Professor Quirrell because Voldemort and Quirrell, they didn't have the stones. So whatever Quirrell and Voldemort did, that was just their own thing with the face in there. The face in the book, honestly, I always thought Harry just grabbed the wrong fucking book. It was just fucking around.
Wasn't that what
yeah.
happens? He just accidentally grabs the wrong one and opens it to that.
I don't
I
think
don't
think
he
so. Yeah, I
didn't
think
feel
it's
like
the
he was
real one.
I didn't feel confident in his book selection, to be honest.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I guess I saw that as more just a display of why there is a forbidden section and what kind of crazy shit you'd see in there. Because if it was just like these words are forbidden, maybe that wouldn't make as much sense. But it makes more sense if it's like, oh, this thing could like attack you or get out or something.
Was
think
that
one was
actually
important to
Voldemort's face, or was that just a random
He was
person?
just trapped. in a book.
No, I don't think it was Voldemort's face. I think it was
Yeah,
just a
it's
random
just-
face. But
Yeah,
it
'cause
just
I always thought same with Dylan, like, it's just kind of this is a forbidden book. Maybe going with what Taylor's saying that he grabbed the wrong one. He's just gonna start looking around because he's not Hermione. He's just kind of
Can't even
bumble through
read.
it.
yeah, they don't even teach English.
Oh, it was the wrong book. Because remember, Hermione says, you're looking in the wrong section.
Hmm.
And
But
she
he's-
whips out the book.
He's
right?
reading the book, isn't he? He's like famous
Yeah,
fiends.
but Harry would be nowhere
Nicholas
without
Flamel.
Hermione. Yeah, he does say that.
He's
and
in
he
like
finds,
bees.
Yeah, he finds a book that apparently is supposed to be Nicholas Flamel, but then Hermione says, I had you in the wrong section.
Okay.
So there's obviously a disconnect.
Yeah, like I was
That
kind of
screaming face is probably just how Nicholas Flamel feels being 664 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. It's torture.
Anytime that book opens, he like uses his last bit of energy to
Just
cry out
scream.
for help.
Yeah, and while I was watching it, I'm having all these thoughts. I've never really understood that. Again, I was kind of like just conversing with myself. I'm like, maybe it's just like a safety protocol, like that's like a security for the book of just like this scary face that just tells you get the fuck out. You're not supposed to be reading this. So maybe it's that. I've always just been bugged by it, how they just don't explain. And again, maybe I just missed it every time I've seen this movie. And like you guys just said, Hermione just said that he's in the wrong section. I don't know. I guess I was just trusting Harry too much when he's like famous fiends, Nicholas Flamel. Okay, this is the book, and I'm trusting him because I can't actually see what the book is. So,
Kirklin, you just reminded me of something that I need to do an ad break. So
How did I remind you of that?
Yeah,
Hour
I don't
15
know.
in? Yeah,
Hour 15 in, yeah. So I'm gonna do an ad break.
I thought of it, but I was just like, oh, this is just for Patreon. I won't bother.
Definitely always shout out the ad break. So while we do an ad break, I'm gonna play a quick 5-second video that you also remind me of Kirklin.
Why are we doing that? That's not how normally an ad break works.
Well,
This isn't
instead of us
Travis's
just
show. It's
just
Taylor's
pausing in the YouTube, I mean, yeah. So here's an ad break.
That's all you want to know.
And we're back.
Icon.
How many pixels did you count? I counted 16. It's pretty pixelated.
I did an all switcheroo there, so I made it look like Harry and Ron just didn't care.
Yeah, I liked it. No, that was well played. Maybe
Yeah.
laugh.
Yeah, nice.
Good ad break, Taylor.
Nicely done.
Yeah. So we were. How about we? Yeah. I don't know. Someone else take us away. I've been talking too much.
I have another topic, unless Jessica, I know, has so many notes. I don't know how well we're getting through your notes because we keep getting you sidetracked. Do you want to just plug through some, or should I?
It's like
throw
back to
another topic?
Centaurs.
You know
I think
what?
we're done with Centaurs. I mean, they have 5 seconds in the movie. We can.
Either way, I can just have a half an hour rant at the end of this cast about all the rest of my notes.
Totally.
So,
Okay.
if you have a topic you want to discuss, go ahead.
Let's get into this then, because this might be a divisive topic, and I don't know how the rest of you feel about this, but I know I have some support, so I'm not going to say it's a hot take, but I think Quidditch is a terrible game, and I want to talk about it because it is an important part of these movies, but I just think it is terrible. One, from a game perspective, it's the worst balanced and just most terrible mechanical game of all time, but also I think it's just really unexciting because of those mechanics, nothing, very little matters in the game of Quidditch, in that we have this big epic match that happens in this movie and there's goals back and forth, and the commentator, I will say that commentator is great. She's popping off,
So hype. Yeah.
punching in the number. They're not only commentating, but they're also punching in the numbers. So they're solo commentating and doing the numbers. It's a big job.
On that note, though, do you think there's an announcer for each house? Because they were obviously at Gryffindor. That person, they were
Maybe
they had the Gryffindor scarf.
days, but I felt like that person was just
For different
passionate about
days.
commentary and Quidditch and
Okay.
wanted to do the job. But none of that matters. None of those points and that tension, where it was supposed to be tension, matters, because the game just ends arbitrarily when you get the one win condition, and then it nullifies anything else. And I maybe I don't fully understand the rules, but unless you're 15 points down or more, you just can't get it, I guess. But if you're anywhere else, which most games, if they're back and forth and even, they're going to be kind of close enough to each other, then it just doesn't matter. You might as well just have 4 goalies and one person going for the snitch, or everyone going for the snitch and one goalie. What is the point of anyone else in the game of Quidditch?
Well, there's only one. What are they called? Seeker. There's only one seeker on a team. You can't have 10 seekers.
Why not? Why
And-
can't? What if someone else accidentally grabs the snitch?
Disqualified. They're expelled.
Is that
Yeah.
true?
They're
you
banished to the Forbidden Forest.
Is that true?
I don't know. I'm probably
But
wrong.
even then, wouldn't the meta evolve in a way that just eventually got the game away completely from using the quaffles and the fucking bludgers and all that? And wouldn't it just be well, I might not be a seeker, but I might as well just play goalie because
I
nothing else matters.
have a counter here for
Sure.
an answer for you, Dylan. So the Quidditch rule states that only the 2 team seekers have the right to catch or touch the snitch. If any other player does so, it commits a foul called a
So why
snitch
doesn't
nip.
every other player then just play goalie while
What?
the guy
Wait, what's it
goes?
called?
A snitch nip is a foul. The official
Snitch
term.
nip.
So
Yeah.
then Taylor, why doesn't every other player, because it's 5 people on a team, right? And there's 4 hoops.
3 hoops, probably. I think there's 2 beaters.
Why doesn't every other player just sit in front of the hoops and then
There's only one keeper.
Well, when it doesn't matter because there's no rule saying you can't block a goal if you're not.
Is there? Fact check that.
I'll
You got the
fact
rules.
check.
If it is, that's a terrible rule set. If no other player is allowed to block a ball, if it would go in, you don't have to. I'm curious on the rules here because I just think if there's only one player that truly matters in the game, it makes it so meaningless.
The
And
opposing
then,
team's keeper may attempt to stop the shot from being scored, but all other players must not interfere. Penalties can be awarded to teams by referees.
Yeah, like I think it's different if you're like passing it to a friend like halfway through like the court, but like if you're actually taking a shot, it's like it's in soccer, right? Like if you go to grab the ball, like that's a foul unless you're the keeper. Like it's just in that sense, I feel like.
So you're not allowed to intercept. Like if someone's half field,
if
and
they're
they just launch
shooting
a
it,
ball, you can't do any. You just have to look at it.
Well,
Only
no,
the
I think
keeper can block
block.
quaffle shots thrown by the opposing team. It's a rule.
Yeah, but
well,
they can
that's
catch
a horrible
it though.
rule.
Because,
so you can't intercept then because
no, you can. No, you can for sure. I think somehow they discern whether it's a shot or whether it's a pass. Again, they're magic. I'm just a muggle. I don't know how that works.
I think your analogy, Kirklin, is pretty on point. To be honest, it's like the difference between goaltenders in soccer and other players. It's just there's just certain positions that have certain functionalities and privileges over others.
Well, why? If you're another player on the team, then why? What's the incentive of getting a goal?
Because once you get 150 points, you win, even if nobody catches the snitch, right? And like I feel like the idea of the snitch is that it's so impossibly hard to see that, again, we're just watching Harry Potter, the Chosen One. He's going to catch it every fucking game.
I was under the impression that you have to get the snitch to end the game.
No, I think it's just 150 points. Because as soon as you catch
if you get the snitch, the game ends.
Yeah, it takes you to 150 points, and then if you just keep getting quaffles.
No. There's games in the books that go to like 200 and something points.
The snitch is the only thing that ends the game.
Okay, then I'm on Dylan's team.
Or
Quidditch is fucking dumb then.
Catching the snitch ends the game, or if the two team captains agree to end it.
I see. Okay, I'm totally in Dylan's camp then. I think Quidditch is dumb.
Yeah, and it's just like if a game can end in 5 seconds or like 7 years, I just don't think that's a very well balanced game.
Yeah.
And you're never going to do a best of 3, would you? You would just always do one game because, well, this could go for several years. So we might as well just do one game, you know?
I knew that you didn't like Quidditch, so I was really trying to get like every pro Quidditch point I could by watching this. And like, I feel like when he catches the snitch, the announcer specifically says that's 150 points for Gryffindor. And therefore, like that's, but
you don't need to cap
you can't be down by more than 15 points, right? Because then if you got the snitch and you're down by 16 points, 160. But if you're down by 160, then you'd only get 150. You'd still lose because the game would end there. So you just can't be down by less than 15, which is why I feel like it is so meaningless what the other players do, especially in the case that all the games we see in the movies like don't really go that long. So it just doesn't seem like what's the point? I
mean, I take it a team needs to hit 150 points to win. You can have 140 points to get the snitch and then get way over 200 points, but the game ends either way. So I feel like you need the 150 points, which is where a game would end. I would take it.
That doesn't sound like the case. It sounds like the game can just go on forever.
You have to get the snitch.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong, but I mean, Jessica backed me up on that, and I'm going to take her over myself.
No, 100%. And again,
and then the other thing, and this is completely subjective, of course, but as I've because of course, when I was a kid, I loved Quidditch. I thought it was the best thing ever. But now, as I've watched it older, I'm like, this is just this is the mechanics here are just awful. And then, so I become less interested, and I know, I get like so much of the tension feels just meaningless because of that win condition. And then I also felt like when I read the books, I just thought the Quidditch sequence were awful. I just thought they were so boring, and maybe that was already past my prime when I didn't care about Quidditch anymore. I thought it was stupid, but I didn't think it was very interesting, written in words, and I don't think it's very interesting in the movies now. I just want to skip past it because it just feels like such a waste of time.
Here you go, Dylan. A team can catch the snitch and lose the game, yet still win the cup win the cup if their points for the season are higher than the opponents. So they have seasons.
Yeah, that's the same as any. That's the same as any sport. It's like if you lose a game of hockey, but you have more overall wins out of your 7, like best, 4 out of 7 or whatever it is.
The longest Quidditch match lasted about 3 months.
Yeah,
because a Quidditch match can only end when the seeker catches the snitch. Oliver Wood once told us that the longest Quidditch match on record was about 3 months.
I thought it was 6.
So
is it only 3?
Well, here's another thing. Because there's like you can just,
only 3.
You can just attack people, right? You can just attack people in the game of Quidditch.
Oh yeah, those Slytherin.
So
guys,
why don't you just attack the other team's seeker and then you just can't lose? There's no possible way to lose if you just knock the other seker out.
And then adding on to that question.
No, not necessarily.
Adding on to that question, how like do the what are they called? Jeez, the
blighters.
The Blighters? I don't think that's what they're
I
called.
think it was
The Bloody Bludger.
a
So
blighter.
you can get a foul for blocking the Seeker, deliberately putting yourself in one's way of the opponent team's Seeker with the intention of obstructing their way towards a snitch. So you would get a foul.
Well,
That's
yeah.
not disarming one or beating
But
one
that
down.
doesn't mean you lose the game. You just get a foul. I'll
No,
take a foul any day.
You
if I
could still
kill the
disarm them.
Seeker.
Like if we destroyed the other team's Seeker, if we're playing, the other team could still get 15 goals with the quaffle and win the game.
But it wouldn't matter though, because as long as someone does, like, it sounds like you need that golden snitch to win the game, which is totally different than what I thought.
Harry is always going to get the snitch in 10 minutes of game time, then nothing else matters. Nothing. Even I guess if one team completely gave up and you were just getting goal after goal after goal, then it would matter. But realistically, that wouldn't happen. You might as well just keep the ball and then run away and never throw it or hit it and just keep flying away, because none of it matters, because the snitch is the only thing that matters. It's a one man's game, because it's written specifically for the golden boy to always win, and he's always the star player.
Just like his father.
Yeah, it's just, and I mean, I think like in the fourth movie, there's like the big Quidditch match, and I think maybe they go into more depth there, and like it maybe becomes more interesting. But I just feel like, to me, it's past redeeming. I just think it's such a terrible game mechanically that I just don't find it interesting. And I mean, it doesn't have to be, for the purpose of this, but that's just how petty this argument is. I just think Quidditch is stupid, but it doesn't matter, because it fulfills its purpose within the movie of being like this thing that's tense, and it makes Harry cool at some other thing that ties into him having to ride a broomstick later in the movie to do some cool thing. But just as a game, not good. Not good.
Kirklin, you said, I don't know, I didn't know this, but Harry's dad was not a Seeker, oddly enough.
Well, you mentioned that, and then Hermione like goes and shows them, and it says his name, and right over top of it, it says Seeker. Does it not?
I think he wasn't. Well,
because it says your father was a Seeker as well.
It's saying he's a chaser.
No,
of the Golden Snitch,
playing chaser for the Quidditch team.
Kirklin got him.
So and is that another term?
A chaser?
It's the U.S. version.
Yeah, that's the.
They don't know what Seeker means. Yeah.
One other thing I didn't notice until this, and maybe this is an obvious fact, but I just never noticed it until now, is that when they zoom in on that plaque, you can see that McGonagall was also a player. And
it's badass.
Did you guys notice that? Because it sounds like Taylor knew about that, but I literally noticed that for the first time.
I was trying to look for the other names, but I didn't rewind and pause it or anything, so yeah, no, I missed that one.
I thought that was cool, because I always just thought that in that scene when Harry saves Neville's Remember All and McGonagall sees him, I thought it was just like, oh god, that looked really cool. I should like tell this to Oliver, the captain of the team. But now it makes more sense that it's because she was a player and she can identify what a good Seeker would be like, I guess. So totally. I thought that was a cool detail that I didn't notice until this watch.
Yeah, no, that's a good little notice that you had there, because I definitely missed that on the plaque. And then just like the overall rules of Quidditch. Again, I was so pro Quidditch, and then I did not know though that the game just goes on forever until the Seeker catches it. And if I'm trying to defend it here, I feel like those bludgeon, I don't know the word, but the bad balls, they're pretty deadly. So like maybe they're just absolutely pelting the guys, and they're like, this is brutal. I have 6 broken limbs. I can't go on. Like, please get this game to end. So then maybe, like, I want to know what the ratio, because again, we only see the games that Harry's in, right?
A player is not allowed to sub out if they're too tired or too injured.
I know, but that's why I'm saying, like, maybe they're like, Captain, please end this game, because it's the captain, right? Yeah. No. We're getting the cup.
So maybe I guess just saw a different one, but I just want to say that the picture that I see, it says Seeker, that he's a Seeker.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And then Taylor just whipped out a cool fact that it says
he's on
Seeker,
like Wikipedia.
But was later like corrected that was falsehood. But I mean, for the sake of what we saw in this movie for this retro, it says Seeker, and they say that in the movie. I thought it said, "Harry, you didn't tell me dad was a Seeker." Yeah. So,
I didn't know.
Maybe that was like something in the movie people changed because they thought it made a better story, or it fit their narrative that they were doing better. But yeah, I think for Quidditch, I've played so many competitive games now and like followed so many competitive games that I feel like, and just when I think about Quidditch realistically, I just feel like the metagame would change in a way. There's no way that it could change in a way that would make it an interesting game. I feel like it would always just be degenerate play that would be
even if like
all around centering your making your seeker just win the game and risk aversion rather than like actually going for cool plays and stuff like that, because there's just so little incentive for that kind of thing.
So even if the catching it was to only award a limited amount of points to make it so it was still comparable, it's still, you think, is a stupid premise?
I think it's stupid that the snitch ends the game. I think the fact that that's the only way the game ends is the bad part. I think it's also probably bad that it gives you so many points, because then I just think a game that lasts 2 minutes long is probably it needs to have some reworking to it. But yeah, maybe if there was like a threshold of points that you need to get to, or maybe if you could get multiple snitches in a game and they just gave you a shit ton of points, but they're really hard to get, and it's just like after an amount of time the game ends like a regular sport, and the snitch gives you a certain amount of points. But the fact that it does both just makes it such a only one note game that I don't know.
Yeah, I think there should be a set score limit, and then whoever gets to that limit first wins. I mean, that's just most sports games in general. But like once you catch the snitch, then that also ends the game. But I don't think that should be again. Yeah, okay, I misspoke.
It's more time based, right?
True. Yeah. So like, let's say first person to 1,000 points, or whoever gets the seeker first. I feel like that makes more sense in the rules of Quidditch. And that's what I honestly
you can
thought.
Get multiple snitches, and yeah.
You think there should be multiple snitches?
Well, I don't know. Maybe if the game can keep going on, like I don't think it should just end with the snitch, right? So if the game, let's say it goes,
I'm okay with it being. I'm honestly okay with that, because like,
let's say it's a 2-hour long game, and if your seeker's popping off and gets 3 snitches in the game, then that's very rare, but it can be done as like another way to win. But that's not going to be your defining strategy. You're going to need people who are getting the bludger and the bleeder and the quaffle and all that too.
Yeah, and yeah, like I don't have a problem with the snitch ending the game. I have a problem with that being the only way to end the game, because like Dylan was mentioning,
that's it. Yeah,
like there's just like, imagine just being like, oh, I practiced my whole life to be, I don't know, a beater, and then you just like so irrelevant on the team or something like that. And like Fred and George, like their role is to basically like they mentioned to protect Potter, right? Like, isn't that what they say? Because like that's what I was gonna ask though, because obviously in the second movie, the bloody ball, I'll call it, because I can't pronounce bludger apparently. Like it's obviously like hex, so it's just going for Harry. But normally, is it going for the Seekers, or is it just going around and just hitting everyone?
Chaos. Just going around.
And
then how come they said like they're just trying to keep? Like,
beaters attempt to hit the opposing team's players with the bludgers and attempt to block the bludgers from hitting their team players. So they're like the shield, basically.
Oh, okay.
And here, like another thing, because in the game too, doesn't Oliver, who's the goalie, he gets like knocked out. Which you would think, if no one else is allowed to block the ball from going into the hoop, then that should be like curtains. That's okay. We lose the game. We might as well forfeit. But no, that's not how the game works, which that would also be a terrible mechanic if your goalie got knocked out and then there was no way to, like, no one else is allowed to try and block in any way.
Adding on to that, isn't he the team captain? How are they supposed to forfeit if the guy just is dead? Like, he's just out of the game. It's just
out the window.
Guess someone better catch the snitch.
To be fair, just put on record, I love Quidditch and I think it's a great sport. I would happily play it.
I think visually it's beautiful. I think it's just so magical. Like when they got their capes, I think it's when him and Malfoy are like paired up together, like chasing the snitch. I just love visually that scene. I love like the arena.
The next movie.
Yeah. Isn't that what I said?
No, because Malfoy wasn't on the team in this one.
Oh, sorry. I meant to say in the next. I knew he wasn't in this one. But like I'm just saying,
save it for the next one.
I'm just saying the overall arena, like in Quidditch, is beautiful. I think all of that stuff is awesome. The rules could do some fine tuning there, for sure. Yeah.
Again, that's in the 80s. Who knows? Maybe like 2020, 2021 Quidditch rules are like fucking on point.
Maybe. And yeah, I like in because they emphasize that the golden snitch is like nearly impossible to see, right? Because like Wood, like
Yes
when he
and
pulls it
no, I guess.
out, like when he pulls it out and shows the hair, yeah, Wood can't even see the goddamn
Yeah, he
thing.
looks completely the opposite direction.
Well, that's why he's not the seeker. I mean.
No, exactly. And Harry's looking right at it, so that's why I'm like I don't have a problem with it only being one golden snitch to end the game, because it seems like literally nearly impossible if this guy that literally gave it to Harry and all of a sudden he just can't see.
Maybe-
But I
it.
mean, it's clearly
could
not
be
impossible if
dyslexic.
every game of Quidditch ends by someone grabbing it. So
Yeah, maybe it gets easier the longer the game goes. After like 3 months, it starts losing speed.
it's like, come on, guys, I want to go
Yeah.
back. Go back to my home.
My wings are tired.
Yeah, it's true.
What do you think about oh, sorry. I was going to ask Jessica.
Well, yeah, I guess I don't know, Jess. You probably like Quidditch, I would imagine, right?
I mean, I am not invested one way or another, as you guys are. The Ravenclaw in me made 0 notes about Quidditch because I didn't want to bring it up because I expected Travis to be here, and I was like, I don't want to get into this. So I was
I'm
just
the
gonna,
original Quidditch hater. I'm gonna say it.
I just love sports, so I'm always talking about sports.
Although I do respect that Travis has. We're on the same team on that one. We would be like in the stands, like heckling people and be like, "This game sucks," you know. Like you should go.
Boo.
Yeah,
You're like Professor
so
Quirrell.
lame.
You're casting a hex on Harry's broom.
Yeah,
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, we'd be like, "Come play this other cool game that we're playing over in."
make up your own game.
Come play some
Yeah.
Smash.
Yeah, come
I
play
mean,
some
I don't think that
Wizards
the only way the game ends catching the Quidditch is as stupid as you guys seem to think. I do have a problem with the number of points that it gives, because I think points can only be scored in 10s and 20s. Other than that, depending on,
Yeah.
and so to me that seems stupid that you have to be 160 points ahead of the other team to win if they catch it, right? So to me, I mean, if the snitch gave 50 points and that was the only way to end the game, to me that would seem a little bit better. Or even if the goals are 10, 20 and then 30 to catch the snitch, so it's still reasonable that teams can be within 30 points of each other. So I don't think that being caught being the only way that the game ends is the most heart-wrenching or terrible part of the rules, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to discussion on it. It's interesting that now we've already swayed Kirklin over here, but I feel like all three of us are like, here's my main problem with Quidditch, and it's all a different thing is maybe telling at how problematic it is. But
I mean, I have a feeling Quidditch is brought up in every movie, so I'm sure this discussion will come up again. And
for sure, we can put it on the back burner for now.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this half an hour kind of side topic is. I knew it was going to come because I expected it to come.
I mean, it's a big, as you said, it's a big part of the movies, so I think it's worth saying.
I mean,
what game is sick though is Wizard's Chess.
Dude, Wizard's Chess. I actually had a chess, like a legit Wizard's Chess set with with those characters and everything.
What'd you do with it?
What I do with it?
Yeah.
It's probably at my
have
parents'
mine.
house. Yeah, it's probably at my parents' house, honestly.
Yeah. I don't know if I have it with me here, but it still exists somewhere. Although, it's weird because which one did you have? Did you have the one Ron has, or do you have the one that's in like the dungeon? Because I had the dungeon one.
Like life size.
No, not life size, but like those pieces. Because the one that Ron and
aren't they
and
the
Harry
same?
play
Oh,
is like
no, they are different. Okay, yeah, no, I have the one in the dungeon with like the
there's
peons
a king
with the
or
swords.
something like gets off his chair and he like smashes one.
Yeah,
and he's,
okay,
like,
yes, right.
like,
No, I
force
had the
him.
one with like the peons that had the swords, like the double
I love
swords.
those guys.
And then
You
like
didn't have the life-size pieces?
like the what was that? The king with the,
I always wanted that though.
sword?
I always wanted a life-size chess set. Someday when I have my own house and money, I will do that. I mean, I guess I could buy that now, but it's like, why would I buy that?
Fully
with the money I
robotic
have?
pieces that will just destroy each other, like because they claim spots.
Yeah, I mean, not
replicated.
that, because like each time that happens, like, man, that's like $1,000 down the drain. Like these things aren't cheap. I'm getting them hand sculpted by some Greek man. Like
Dumbledore's got money. He's just dropping them on new pieces.
Yeah.
I gotta say too, when like Ron does his heroic like sacrifice there, how could he not just like jump off the horse before that happened? Like,
Yeah.
do you think that would just disqualify him because he like leaves his square, or he's just like,
It's possible.
please don't stab me. Like, imagine if the guy just like stabbed Ron in the chest and he just ended that character.
Just
Well, no,
decapitates them.
It stabs the horse like in the side, like not even Ron's leg or
He
anything.
still
But then
falls like 10 feet though. Like I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
He might have been a bit traumatic, but
rewatching it, I was just like, this is so bad.
Yeah.
I looked up a little bit about that because I had a few questions. One, like Ron, when he issues the first command, he's like, "You there, E4," and
He like looks at him. Yeah. No, he doesn't.
yeah,
actually.
like the piece knows that he's talking specifically to him. Like he doesn't say pawn to E4, which would be like a normal notation thing. He just says "you there." So clearly they can hear him in some way. But then later on, when it's like the winning move segment, he's like out loud. Him and Harry are talking about their planning. He's like, "I'm going to sacrifice myself, and then you're going to check the king." So like they say their plan out loud, but then the other piece doesn't hear them say that and still falls for their bait and then loses the game. So I don't know what's going on there. But
if I wanted to play devil's advocate, I'd say only his team can hear him. You know,
okay,
maybe they're in like TeamSpeak. They don't have Eavesdrop Pro on.
I think he should have to be a bit more specific and not just say "you there."
Yeah,
because they can't see. I don't know. I thought
so.
That was weird.
I'm gonna jump on the devil's advocate train here too. I mean, if you get a check in chess, there are times when there is legitimately one move you can make because you have to do the only move that protects your pieces.
You're forced to do it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's very possible that I don't know enough about chess to look at the board in the movie and be able to say, okay, yeah, what Ron did made it so there was physically only one other move the other team could do, which then allowed Harry to make the final move. Yeah. But it is very possible that it didn't matter that he was talking about it. You know, obviously Harry sucks at chess too. So Ron's just like, once I move this, that's the only other option the team physically has.
So I because in the last there was like 2 or 3 years ago, I got like really into chess for like a few months, and I was like playing a lot and like watching videos and trying to learn as much as I could. And so I was like, I wonder if someone's done like an analysis of this game. So I after I watched the movie today, I searched that up, and I watched someone who's breaking it down. Is really cool. So they actually brought in, like, I don't know if he is a professional, well, he's obviously a professional chess player of some sort, but they brought in a professional chess player to set up that end game position so that it was like essentially like a chess puzzle. Like it was a real scenario. It's not, the whole game wasn't drawn out, I don't think. Like they, after the first couple moves, they just kind of skip past things.
Well, there's some like snip shots of just like pieces flying around. Yeah.
But then even though they don't show the whole game board, like that guy, you know, talked about it later or something like that and revealed like the whole board position, and it wasn't an only move situation that you alluded to. But I thought it was interesting that they brought in a chess player to set up that full scenario, and like it's actually like really well choreographed the way he does it, because like the piece, like the queen gets really close to Harry's, it's like it's like almost like a threat in that way too, that like your main character would almost get hit, but then the way Ron like is on the opposite side of the board and does that sacrifice is really cool. So I thought that was really interesting. But then they're also saying that they didn't credit that guy in the movie at all, and his name never pops up, and I thought that was really lame that they like brought in this guy and he thought this whole thing out, and then like they didn't really show, because he had like 2 or 3 moves before that final the shot that we see. Like there's more moves before that he had planned out, and they don't really show any of that, which is fine because they can't. But I thought it was lame that they don't have him in the credits at all. Like, shout outs to that guy. So
you don't even know his name.
Yeah, it was Jeremy something or other. I mean, he's not like Magnus Carlsen.
I was gonna ask if it was Magnus Carlsen. Yeah.
It was Jeremy something to start with a P. So
shout out to Jeremy.
Shout out to that guy. But I've always loved that particular scene. I think it is still dramatic, even if it is silly. You're right, because obviously like Ron just kind of falls off and it's very over dramatic, but
he's just like like he's just like cringing for it. He knows what's coming. And like the score in that like final fight scene, especially when it's like building up, and then when it finally hits Ron, that scene is awesome. And I love like the braziers, is that what it is? Like the flaming like things in the side. It's just a really good like ambiance scene. I love that.
Now I'm looking up the guy's name. Jeremy Silman is his name because I want to be the guy to give him his.
Yeah, he's in our
due.
credit. Yeah.
Shout out to Jeremy Silman.
When I used to play with my friends too, we used to legit be like pawn to e4, so we had it like written on the sides so that we could remember. Yeah, lots of fun.
Amazing. Okay, so basically, Ron sacrifices himself, which puts white away from the queen, and it's the only legal move that white can make.
Nice.
Thus, Harry can move and checkmate white's king. So it was that's why he could discuss it.
Nice.
Doesn't matter what the other team can't make any other legal move.
Yeah, it was just funny when I was watching it because I felt like it felt like one of those villain moments where the villain's just like talking over his plan and giving out all the details before he gets duped by the good guy. It's kind of like the opposite of that, where Ron's just spilling the beans.
Spilling those beans.
Mm-hmm. I've always loved that whole ending sequence. I think part of it seems a bit weird to me when I was thinking about it logically. Like I'm just talking about the whole part when they go through first that like
the trials, or whatever it might be.
The trials, the worm and the worm thing, and then the key room, the chess room. I've always I just love the visuals of all those particular scenes. But I was kind of wondering now. So obviously when they go there, Quirrell has already gone through. He had the harp set up and he went through. So did he do everything that they did? Like, I think it's pretty reasonable that he went through the worm stuff. But then did he do the key? Did he grab the key and go through the locked door? And then did he just like, oh, you can go back, key. You can go back to your home. And he didn't like, he bothered to like close the door behind him. Did he have to do the chess game? He probably didn't, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Where are you on that?
I think no. He probably found some backdoor.
I mean, there are
Fluffy's.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because they showed the harp. Jessica.
There is destroyed chess pieces, like all over,
and
around the board
from his game.
Well, I mean, who else would it be? I mean, in theory, Dumbledore, who put it down there, would.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long that chessboard's been there, just chilling. That was something I was wondering too. Like, this is just in the middle of the castle, and there's like this massive dungeon with like these crazy trials. I mean, Hogwarts is kind of nuts like that, but
Hogwarts is probably like 100 floors down, like freaking. Oh my gosh, what's the Resident Evil place called? Umbrella Corps. It's like a whole Umbrella Corps situation.
That's funny. So I guess shout outs to Quirrell for also winning a game of chess. Pretty solid there too.
On the note of Quirrell, like, has he just been living with this guy in the back of his head for the past 10 years? And like,
I got questions about that too.
Like, just working at Hogwarts, playing the long con.
They don't ever mention how long he's been working there, right? Like, because I think either Fred or George mentions that like Snape's been after his job for years. So that's more than 1 or 2 years.
That's all he says is he's been after Quirrell's job for years, because I put that down too. It's an exact quote. So it's like he's obviously been at Hogwarts for a couple of years, so he's just been sitting there waiting for Harry.
Just drinking unicorn blood.
So it's just, I don't remember anything specific about it in the book about how long he's been part of his head or how that happened, but did he just randomly attach to him and then he's like, okay, go work at Hogwarts and wait patiently?
And like, I again, I might be just like crossing over with like Star Wars here, but like, don't you think like someone like Dumbledore would just be able to like feel Voldemort's presence like in the castle, like when he's literally sitting like 3 people next to him, like when they're at the diner there? Again, maybe that's
definitely Star Wars.
Okay, I don't know. It's magic. Come on, like get the magic sense out there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Dumbledore can tell where like Harry is when he's going to that secret room with the mirror. He's got some intel, but I guess he can't determine where Quirrell is. But I wonder too, because Quirrell's obviously kind of a bit of a strange guy, and he's got he kind of like stutters with his speech and stuff like that. I wonder if that stuff is a part of the like transformation of him becoming more evil or less like himself, or if he was always kind of like that and he's still kind of the same on the day-to-day, but then he just has this guy on the back of his head.
I think it was just an act, right? Because at the end he says like, who would who would ever, presume that it was stutter, and then he does it. But when he's having his dialogue with Harry, he's
I guess he's
normally
just playing the long con the whole time, probably.
Like super long con.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do for Lord Voldemort. So.
He's more loyal than Lucius. Lucius doesn't have Voldemort on the back of his head.
No. Do you think he would take up the opportunity? He'd have to shave those luscious locks, though.
So, do you think? Because in this year, technically, don't Fred and George have like that? What's that thing that Harry gets? Yeah, the Marauder map. Don't they technically have it at this point in time? Don't you think Voldemort would be on there?
Oh shit, that's a good point. I mean, we don't know if they have it yet.
Because they say they get it in third year, right?
I thought it was first year. I think.
Okay, yeah, first year.
So
they're obviously not first years. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing it just has Quirrell still, right? Obviously, there's some crazy dark magic going on there that makes them.
Like Quirrell-Demort is like what it says on the map. They're like, I don't think that's right.
Must be an error glitch.
I was thinking about that, yeah, and I'm like, again, it's probably just they didn't think about having that map at this point in time.
Well, I mean, it's also would come up, in the later movie when that guy's faking the position of Mad-Eye Moody, right? Because would the Marauders map show that guy's name? I forget who it was, or would it show Mad-Eye Moody? I guess.
Yeah, like does the
no, it would show it's the same. So think about like Scabbers. Technically, his name appears as Peter Pettigrew, even though he's
right
on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So
technically they watched their brother sleeping with Peter Pettigrew for however many years and just never said anything.
I sent a meme for that too in the chat. That was good.
And therefore they would know about Mad-Eye Moody as well. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, so it would have.
Just not telling anyone.
Yeah, they're tricksters. They're like, oh yeah, we love evil people.
Fred and George stole the map from Filch's office their first year at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
So yes, they would have had it the entire time up until Harry's third year is when they give it to him.
Maybe they're not using it very much. They got other things like fireworks and bubble gum to play with, I guess.
Messing with their mom.
Yeah.
So, because you would think, in theory, it should. You would think it would say.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe because he's, drinking the unicorn blood, he's like half alive. Maybe it just says like Mort or something.
Yeah, the words start coming in the stronger he gets. Because I was gonna ask too, like the polyjuice potion, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you drink that, would the map technically say like the new person that you are, or would it still say
your OG name? I think.
Okay, because like when he's Scabbards, when he's Scabbards, like is that the potion? Scabbers. When he is that like what is causing him to be a mouse or a rat, whatever he is?
He's it's his animagus, so he just transforms into it.
Okay. Right. Okay.
I just have a couple quick notes, and then I'm sure Jessica still has a bunch here, but we kind of skipped past this part, but I just love the design of Diagon Alley. I love that the buildings are like falling into each other, into the streets. I love that Gringotts is kind of like zigzags up. I think they just absolutely nailed that, and like each building having its own kind of personality to it, and I just think they absolutely nailed the look of that place.
The CGI when they like go through the door, that definitely didn't age too well. Because it's like an actual wall, and then it just completely turns to this fake CGI, and then like Harry and Hagrid are just.
Oh, do you mean like the brick wall? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I think I thought that looked good. Watch it again.
Stood
up for me.
Watch it again.
Yeah.
And then my last individual note was I love Seamus, and I would be down for a Seamus side spin-off thing. I think he's such an interesting character that we could really dig into. And I just want to see more Seamus. I think he's...
Is that the dude that keeps blowing shit up?
Yeah. I just want to know what is up with him. Because clearly there's something there. And I just want to know what he does on the 9 to 5. I want to know when him and... or when like Harry and crew are off saving the world. Like, what is Seamus doing? Because it can't be something that like... I don't know. I just feel like it would be something that I wouldn't expect. I just want to know what his story is.
I feel like he's just always trying to turn water into rum. You know, like Ron even mentioned, he made like slightly dark tea or like mild tea the one night. He's getting close. So like clearly he's been practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And
what does he say? He's like, Dad's a muggle, Mum's a witch.
Yeah, I just every
bit
line
of a surprise.
he says.
Bit of a surprise for him when he found out.
Every line he says just
his lines are so good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Seamus.
He's got a good accent too. I feel
my
like it's
eyebrows
very
have
unique.
almost completely grown back.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like that's an extended scene because I don't remember seeing that specific scene. Because isn't that when Neville is like leg locked when he says that?
I don't think so. No, it's a different time.
Oh, okay.
Because when Neville comes in, they run away.
Yeah, because they have like the Eureka moment. But I feel like they're having some dialogue, like I don't know.
Before that,
Mistaken, yeah.
I do remember that scene from before, so I don't think that's a deleted scene. That's what I was saying. This movie is long. Like I do not remember it being this long, and so like I looked on my OG case back from, the 90s here, and it says right on the back it's 153 minutes. So it's not like it's changed.
Yeah. Saucy runtime.
That's crazy.
Do you have any more things to shout out, Dylan?
Music's amazing, but no, you go ahead.
Yeah, music's amazing. Before you go, Jessica, couple shout out things. I just love when they're like first like showing off like all the castle, like when they see the fat lady, like the common room, just like the stairwells, all that stuff
Not
changing.
Actually, the night sky. It's just bewitched to look like it. I read about it, and
I read about it. Yeah, she's so just like little just bookworm in this film. I understand Ron when he's just getting annoyed at parts, honestly. It's just like, just let me live my life. She's just always correcting him, all these things. But overall, I just loved all of the introduction to like the Wizarding World stuff, whether it's Hogwarts. That train conductor guy, when he's what does he say? He's like, think you're funny, do you? And it's just like this poor 11-year-old kid that's just completely lost, and he just like turns his back on him. He's like, you're not even fucking worth my time.
The 9 3/4. Okay, yeah. I'm like trying to think of who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's like 9 3/4. Think you're funny, do you? And he just like instantly turns his back. Yeah. But yeah, like Dylan mentioned, music's phenomenal in this.
What would happen if like he didn't bump into the Weasleys? He just been fucking stuck there and missed the train.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. He would have gone on a train to like Scandinavia,
London.
Yeah, just him and his owl.
Yeah.
So that'll lead me into one of my other questions. What would you guys pick to take
for your animal?
Yeah.
Are the options rat, owl, cat?
Toad.
Oh, I would take a toad every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love frogs.
Nah, I'd go owl. I think.
Cool.
The school has owls. They literally have an owlery where you can use the owls to send letters.
Do they have a toadery?
Yeah, the toad chill spot is where you want to be. That's where Seamus and
Professor
Neville
Toad.
Yeah, they're getting down.
I would pick a cat, but not this one.
It's a little intrusive. So
the
sorry.
cat's probably the right answer. Owl. You can get a lot done with an owl, I guess.
But you can use a school owl. You could use multiple school owls.
True. I'm taking the toad, but I'm taking the toad. I'm going to my Hufflepuff dorm room, and I'm living the good life.
So sorry. What are the options? It's rat, toad, cat, and owl.
Yeah.
You have to be nuts to take a rat.
Technically, they don't even offer rat as an option. Ron just takes Scabbers because he's been in the family for generations.
So really a limitation? Like, could you take whatever you want?
I think someone has a bunny too in one of the books at one point. So I don't know.
Then I'll just make my own.
Just make your own, do you say?
Yeah. Oh yeah, like a balloon animal. Just magify it.
Nice.
No, I don't know. I don't really like cats. I kind of have allergies with them, so I wouldn't want to do that. Rats are kind of creepy. Squirrel, that's like close to a rat, just like a fluffy tail.
Squirrel. When we get to the third, there is something in the books that a cat is actually like a major part in the third book. So
I'm excited to talk about when we get there.
Shouts to cats.
Yeah, just not this one.
Taylor, what would you pick?
I'm 100% going with an owl. I think
Hedwig.
I've always been envious of Hedwig, and owls are just so.
They're wise.
Again, they're wise, and if you ever dive into alien abductions, it's always heavily related to owls. It's crazy.
Dude, what's that movie? The Fourth
Kind.
Dude, Fourth Kind. Oh yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Would you choose snow owl, or would you go like I think I would go like a ground nesting owl or something wild like that. Great horned owls are nice.
Something with big talons. Just to like, if I'm like losing a wizard's duel, my owl will just come in and just fuck him up with his claws.
But mine can't fly because it's a ground owl, so it just like runs at him with his legs.
That would be terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Birds that run at you, they're terrifying. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, man. Shouts
Isn't
out
that
to
like Ron's
ostriches.
owl later on?
Ron's owl. Like, is that his owl or is that just the Weasley owl? Because it just always like rams into things.
Definitely the Weasley owl. I can't wait to talk
remember
about
that owl from the movies. It was in the games a lot, and I'm like, I guess this was a thing I just forgot about.
It's definitely in the movies. I think it's in the next movie.
He's in a couple, yeah, because he like trips and falls when he drops off the howler.
And when he rams into the window.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Pigwidgeon?
A pigwidgeon.
I think that's his name.
Pigwidgeon,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you were talking about a new animal. I'm like half pig, half pigeon, half wig.
Halfway.
It is Pigwidgeon,
That's dope.
Pigwidgeon. That's a cool name.
also known as Pig.
Not very accurate.
He was a gift from Sirius, so shout outs to that.
Really?
Sirius is all about those gifts, right? Because he's handing out cloaks. He's happy. Well, he doesn't give Harry the broom, right? That's from McGonagall, right?
He gives him another one later.
Oh, okay.
So the one in this movie, yeah, is from McGonagall, but the one he gets in the third movie is from Sirius.
Like Sirius
Yeah.
is fucking loaded. The man's rich as hell.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Dude,
has he
all of his
even
family
started to buy
member.
that? Like his posters everywhere. Has he?
I'm sure he knows magic. He can change his face around.
Yeah.
Comes
Or
a
yeah,
dog and
the
steals it.
polyjuice potion. That's like a reoccurring. That's like an OP spell that they used so much in these films. I feel like the last time I binged them, I didn't realize like how much they actually use it throughout the series. But so sorry, Sirius got him the cloak.
I assume so.
Okay.
No, the cloak came from Dumbledore.
Okay. I think that's what I assume because it doesn't say who it's from, right? It's just use it wisely.
Yeah, but he finds out later in one of the books.
Huh, I'm kind of surprised
okay.
that it's not from Sirius. Anyway.
During the first book, Dumbledore gives Harry the invisible cloak. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Harry's father. So that had it.
Right.
Wow, Harry's getting that big favoritism from the professor, just sending him all these gifts.
He's the chosen one, man.
Yeah. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Plot armor.
What else you got, Jessica?
Oh, my turn? Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
So another question, kind of, I'll just jump around. I'll go through my list here. There's one point
Wow.
where Hagrid
Let's jump it around. Come on. man.
Hogwarts has had his name down since he was first born. Talks about how everyone's been wanting Harry to go to school, this and that. I feel like wouldn't other schools have sent him acceptance letters too, or like offers to attend their school if he was such a big
Definitely
name?
not the all-female school. I don't think they want
No,
the chosen one.
They would even take
Baxton,
him.
probably not.
I know
but-
so little about the other schools that I don't really have an answer for that, but I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. So those other schools, they're just like other places in the world, right? It's not like next door to Hogwarts.
It's so, yeah, they're not like, I think Bo Baxton was French. So in France.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in France.
Oh.
And then I'm just trying to think if Bo Baxton, Authority students, Nicholas Flamel was one. So it's not all female. They just only brought females.
Interesting.
So that's what I mean. Like, you would think.
You definitely would think, for sure.
It was just a question I thought about. Like, why
No,
only
That's a good
Hogwarts?
point. Because you don't really even think that there is other schools until you get to Goblet of Fire, right?
I mean, maybe the other schools didn't have the info on Harry. Like, obviously, Dumbledore and crew drop Harry off at the Dursley's house, so maybe obviously they know where he lived, so they could send him 3 million letters. Maybe the other places didn't know where he was, thought he was. Well, I guess the idea he's always the boy who lives, so they thought he was somewhere. They just didn't know where, I guess.
I mean, I feel like magic. You could probably figure it out, but
Magic, yeah.
Here we are.
The ultimate plot device.
Magic.
And then, So there's the news article about Vault 7, whatever it is, and Harry's just like
713.
Harry's just like, oh, that's the vault that Hagrid was going into. And it's just like, Harry, like, you've known these people for like 2 weeks. Like, why do you think it's okay to be like spouting this? Like, you were going into vault, you know what, for the you know which.
Dude, he's 11. I would be doing that every day.
I
Out there
also-
in my Hufflepuff dorm room, I'm spilling all the beans
With your
my
toad,
toad.
just petting your toad. Just patiently waiting to rule the world.
I'll give you that one. The age thing, I didn't think about that one.
I also just love how he's like reading it, like at first he's like, wait a minute, we were in that vault, Ron. Maybe it's what Hagrid took, you know, like it just seems like he's just so like trying to grasp what it was, but like it's so clearly the object that you took out of the vault. I don't know. I thought just like the line delivery there was just kind of funny for me when he's like reading the paper. I was kind of chuckling to myself because it just seemed like so like obvious it was what you guys took. He's like, Ron, maybe it was what we took. Like he's just so in like amazement and like bewildered.
Better ask Hermione, the smart one. And then I always shout out the idea of the 13-year-old or whatever actor playing Wood having to fight with a fake ball on the ground, trying to pretend like it's trying to fly away from him, and he's just
dude, when he catches that, like I feel like that would just shatter my wrists for like how heavy that ball must be, and it's coming at him fast, and
it
he
looks
just
like iron, yeah.
Oh yeah, and like the way Harry hits it with like the bat or whatever the hell that thing is, like it goes, so it's got some velocity behind it, and he doesn't catch it with his body, it's just like his wrists, and he just oh, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, that guy's out for the season. Like,
not bad, Potter. You'd make a fair beater.
Okay. And then watching with subtitles, as I mentioned, there's the, it's not Leviosa, it's Leviosa, that line. Apparently, she's actually saying Levios R with an R at the end, so it's not just
Leviosa.
It's not just emphasizing the O or the A, which I thought was interesting. She is actually giving a valid correction.
Interesting, yeah.
The one part when Harry gets the broom as mail, and they're just like, oh, let's open it. What could it be? It's like literally just wrapped in the shape of a broom.
It's a chair, yeah. It's like,
what do you think it is?
The way they always do, like I noticed that too with the cloak, when he opens that, the wrap job on those is horrible. Like it is clearly planned to be like something that he can open in half a second for the shot, but it's like that would not hold up with like carrier pigeon ripping that thing through.
A gust of wind would like unravel that
Yeah,
entire thing,
you
and then it's
think
invisible.
Dumbledore-
You would just lose it.
How's Dumbledore gonna wrap anything? You seen that man?
Well, actually, you make a
fragile.
good point. Maybe it's like magically, maybe it's just paper that's around and it's like held together with magic, and as soon
That's
as
a
Harry
good point.
touches it, it breaks it open.
Is there a Nimbus 1999? Or is it just like an outdated model?
I mean, probably.
I wonder-
Probably what James was riding.
Yeah, is it the year? Is that what it's named after? I didn't even think about that.
Well, no,
if
because
this-
they have the Nimbus 3000s, right? That's what the
No,
Malfoy.
2001s.
Oh fuck, yeah, that's right.
And then there was the Firebolt. It's the fastest broom in the world, which
Well,
they
then
say
it
every
must be
year.
1999.
So, no.
Donation from Draco's father. Oh, I can't wait to get to the next
That's
movie.
gonna be so good.
There was a Nimbus 1000, Nimbus 1001, the 1500, the 1700,
They learned
And then
real
the
quick to skip
2000.
years. They got
And
to
then the-
1001 and
and then the 2001.
It's the fastest broom in the world.
that's what they say every model.
100%, yeah.
They say it when they're in like Diagon Alley. Harry's walking by like, whoa, and the little kid's like, it's the fastest broom in the world. And then it's like next movie, Nimbus 2001. It's the fastest brooms in the world.
Yeah, there's not really much to it. It's pretty one note
And like,
line device, right?
yeah, like it seems like it's like the Lamborghini for wizards. And like, don't you think when Harry gets like his fat, just like fucking bank payday, he's just like, oh, I'm gonna go flex on all these kids and buy the best broom in the world.
I would have
didn't know
I
that
would have
he
pulled a
was,
Lucius.
He didn't know he had the aptitude yet for
True.
Quidditch. I guess.
Just buy
With
it
all
on
that gold,
chocolate.
oh
you would
my
think the
God.
second year, yeah, like I'm gonna buy the best one because I'm the seeker, and the seeker's the only important part of Quidditch. Just kidding. We can move on.
Like
Yeah,
deck
we will.
out, get like the legit van braces, the
Oh,
shin
yeah.
guards, like everything.
like a fucking like mask.
Like, and help Ron out too. Like shouts to Goblet of Fire, but like when he wears that crazy suit, like Harry knowingly could have just ordered and custom within seconds of a new suit for him. Harry is just he was not being flexible with the money.
Can you imagine the Gryffindor guys are like, Harry, you're rich. Like, why don't you suit us up? Like, come on, fucking Draco's
Sponsor the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Harry Potter, sponsor of the Gryffindor Quidditch team.
Too busy buying chocolate frogs and collecting.
He's taking the lot. That's all he wants.
I keep saying Gandalf, Dumbledore cards. Moving on.
Okay, moving on. So, just because this is in order, this question is kind of seems awkward and out of place in my list. But here's a question: what would your mirror of Endrise show you?
What the
Your rise.
Oh, the mirror, right?
Not
I remember you're 11 when you're looking at it, Taylor. You're not an adult here.
Oh, are we
Showing
going
me-
from our 11? Oh, okay, well that.
What are we? If not,
If it's 11, it's showing me every Bionicle set I don't own, but that it exists at the time for sure. If I'm an adult, it's probably showing me I'm just fucking like jacked 6-pack working at Jurassic Park as like the raptor caretaker or something like that. Like
you're just Chris Pratt. It just shows like Jurassic World.
I'll be like,
Yeah.
Ron, I look good.
Captain of the Quidditch team. So insert. I don't know, Dylan. Do you have a quick answer?
I don't know if I do.
Just
You
like
go first,
Smash
you go
champion
first.
of the world. Probably.
Yeah, I
like,
mean, that,
Mila.
honestly, that would probably be it. Like just me on the Evo stage, like grand finals, and I'm also ripped and have a raptor with me.
Yeah.
When I was younger, honestly, it'd probably be pretty close to Taylor's as well. Maybe not. I honestly might have been the Bionicles, but also Lego sets and all those other
Yeah.
things.
Winning the Yu-Gi-Oh Cup.
Oh,
You
yeah. I have
you
the
draw that
Witchblade,
fifth
yeah.
Exodia card out of your deck. Perfect timing.
Weevil falls into off the yacht instead of my cards. Yeah.
I mean, when I was 11, I was like, that was like my peak hockey years. So like probably just me like lifting the Stanley Cup. But like, again, you can just translate that to the Wizarding world. So probably me, captain of the Quidditch team. Just,
You're wrong.
just, yeah, full 6-pack. Got a couple Raptors with me. And then if it was me, adult Kirklin, probably just me on a Nimbus cloud flying through the world of Dragon Ball.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a
Not
good
a
one.
Nimbus 2001.
Just the Nimbus cloud. No, I don't need fancy clouds. Just the OG.
That's awesome.
But like the Nimbus broom.
I want the cloud, man. The cloud's better. It's more loyal.
It's more
It never
loyal.
dies. It never dies.
Do you have one,
'Cause
Jessica?
Harry destroys that broom, and the Nimbus cloud would not be destroyed in the fashion that he destroys that broom.
What about you, Jessica? Where are you at 11 and then adult?
When I was a kid, probably be like me living in Japan.
Nice.
Would have been my like dream situation. Now,
I want to see the Japanese like Hogwarts. Like, why don't we ever get these in
That would be cool.
Wizarding World
Oh,
medias?
interesting.
That'd be so dope.
Wizard school.
I
Let's
just
see.
picture like cherry blossoms around their campus and just like
Oh, I don't know.
Mount Fuji in the background and just get on that, Harry Potter people.
Mahotokoro.
That sounds right.
That
That sounds like Hogwarts.
That sounds pretty awesome. I'd go there.
I would go there, yeah.
That sounds like Hogwarts. That comment just got me. Mahotokoro School of Magic. It's the smallest of the 11 major wizarding schools.
Oh, damn.
So there you go.
Oh, it's canon, right? That's what you're saying?
It's there. Yeah.
Damn, that's
Uh,
dope.
Apparently. So anyway.
I'm just picturing you get like your Hogwarts letter. It's like, fuck, I didn't get into the Japanese. You know, like you get your second choice. It's like, oh, like you're just so bummed.
You're going to Hogwarts, not Matokokoro.
Yeah, exactly.
And then now as an adult,
Jurassic Park, 6-pack, 6'5", back muscles looking like Henry Cavill. That's what I want.
probably be my kids are like grown up and successful, and I'm,
jacked. Come on, we know you want to be jacked.
No, I would say like successful and not working, and I could travel.
Nice.
Like having, just like pulling plane tickets out of my pocket. Like
no, you're just Harry in the vault with all this gold behind you.
I love gold.
When they pull the things out of a hat and it's just never ending. It's just me with plane tickets.
Oh yeah, you should have your own plane if it's your fantasy.
I mean, yeah, sure, why not?
Flying coach in your fantasy. I mean, that's very wholesome though. You and your family. That's awesome.
I like to be humble.
Yeah, I respect that. I'm not. I'm champion of the world, just the god king, the emperor god king of the world with the huge 6-pack, back muscles, 6'5". I'm sorry, I'm too ridiculous.
And then there's Taylor with his Jurassic World real dinosaur.
All I need
to be eaten by raptors. Yeah.
Okay.
Good question though. Good question. I like that.
And then why is Quirrell the one drinking the unicorn blood, not Voldemort? And this has always been.
I assumed he was full on backwards, like Exorcist.
But like
100% same. No, 100% same. Oh yeah, no, his fingers are broken.
Arms just like flip backwards. When you're possessed, you can do some crazy shit.
But then he like looks up and like runs at Harry.
Oh yeah, no, I 100% am with Taylor. I just picture him.
Well, he doesn't run, yeah, he floats, so it totally works.
But he's got like the arms out. Like, what's he like doing this?
Well, I mean, like it's like an as needed basis. He can just like flip his arm.
Yeah, it's like The Exorcist. He can just flip around. I mean, the way I see, I guess who cares which one of their heads is? It's like going to the same place. Like they share a stomach. At this point,
I mean, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, there's not like there's two, tubes coming down from their mouths to their stomach, right? Like they're probably just sharing the same one.
I mean, now we're getting into some logistics that, I really hadn't thought about. Like,
yeah, like what if Quirrell sleeps on his back? Then Voldemort's just like
just suffocates and he dies.
It's just he's got his face wrapped in the turban all the time. Like, how does he even breathe? Does he have connection to lungs and stomach? Maybe he doesn't even have a stomach. Maybe it's just Quirrell, and that's why Quirrell has to drink the blood. Because
so many questions.
We're not going to go down this rabbit hole right now.
Next week.
That's part 2. Yeah, part 2 of the first movie.
I will shout out to, there was one line that says, "As long as Dumbledore is around, you can't be touched." When they were worrying about Voldemort coming back, and Hermione said that, and it's true that Harry is safe up until the movie where Dumbledore is killed off.
Good detail, for sure,
definitely.
And
like,
I don't know how that stands.
Yeah,
so I feel like he could have just went to the Dursleys and just fucking popped them.
Well, also he could have died in the forest, right then and there. Like if the centaur didn't came in.
But he didn't.
Is it because Dumbledore sent him? He
needs to be literally under like the blanket next to Dumbledore.
Like
Dumbledore
is
he
there?
Just LARPs as a centaur and he flies around the
That's why the CGI was so bad. It was actually just like because I was gonna ask like the details on that. Like, is it just because he has like a protection ward on Perry? That's just like on Perry. Holy moly, I'm getting sleepy.
Well,
I guess.
I think it's more that he keeps an eye on him, right?
Okay, yeah, that probably makes the most sense.
He's got his Marauders map for just Harry.
That's all he does all day. That's what
he sees that Ron, Harry, and Peter Pettigrew are all in the same room.
Map, yeah.
For an 11-year-old boy and a very old man, I feel like that's very inappropriate.
Well, I mean,
absolutely.
But
you said specifically he watches out so that Harry cannot be touched. So I think there's like a line there where they're pretty safe.
I think there's a lot of foreshadowing in this one. The parcel tongue, Harry's being safe until after Dumbledore's killed off, and that's at the point when, he.
Well, yeah, like I was even gonna say, like the stuff with Snape too. Like, having the knowledge of what I know now about all the films, I love watching these earlier films because I just appreciate it so much more. Like that red herring of having like Snape of. We think that he's the one after the stone. We think that he's the bad guy because he's just picking on Peter.
Pete.
On Potter.
You're all
Holy
over
moly,
the
I'm all over the
board
map.
here.
I'm all over the map. I'm all over the
Yeah,
all over
no,
the map.
they take it's a long con for sure with Snape. They
And
wait
I love
a
it,
while
yeah.
to really reveal the juicy deets, right?
And then when that reveal happens, like it's just getting chills just thinking about it now.
I mean, some of it's not till like the very end of the last movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good foreshadowing and good setup for the entire series in this one.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Cool.
Yeah, I think pretty much all my other notes we kind of touched off at one point or another.
I got a couple pieces of trivia that Travis sent my way.
Before we do the trivia, I was gonna say the bullshit, fucking super biased. Dumbledore comes in, takes the cup out of Slytherin's claws and just gives it to his favorite little golden boy's house. Like, come on. And like, especially the way he did it, it's like, okay, the cup goes to Slytherin. It like goes all the flags green. And he's like, just kidding, you idiots. just like he was just waiting to see like Malfoy like really getting pumped, knowing that he won this year, and then just like just took the rug out from under them. Like, again, like when you're watching this as a kid, you're like, yay, the good guys won, and like everyone's cheering. Like even the teachers are like fucking clapping and all this stuff. It's so biased, but like now being an adult, I'm like, this is so bullshit.
It's
like
funny how like fifth years and like fourth, fifth, sixth years like just don't care anymore about that shit.
100%. Yeah.
I really like that Neville is the one that pushes it over. I like that he switched the order around to make Neville the
what does he give him? Like 3 points just to put him over? We're tied. Like Neville, 3 points.
Like Slytherin wins. It's like Slytherin wins by 1. So we have 1.5 points goes to Neville. It's like, what the fuck?
See, he is watching. He does have his little boys Marauder map watching all the kids. Because how did he know that?
I don't like that term.
How did he know Neville got Cafungus charmed, whatever? Or like, what do you call it? I don't know what the spell was.
Boy, yeah, that sounds right.
That's definitely not right. That was from another movie, but
also, how does Hermione practice magic? Like she comes on the train, she's just Oculus Reparo.
She just practices on her parents and then wipes their memory so they don't remember.
Well, you're not allowed to practice magic.
I would what I would like.
She was going hard on that train.
Yeah, like again, if I'm trying to defend that, I would. You remember when Harry? I think he's practicing some sort of spell. I forget what movie it is, but there's actually like a guide of like where to bring the wand. Like you can follow it in the book. I just kind of think that she has one of those, so she's just practiced that a lot. And then, I mean, it is pretty risky to just do it on someone's face like that. I mean,
she hasn't been to Hogwarts yet. Maybe she doesn't know that it's not that it's.
But she's been studying,
or maybe it was just she was practicing when she was hanging out in Diagon Alley.
True.
On the train.
Yep. I mean, maybe she did like summer school.
Also just
I feel like she would have been one of those people. Yeah.
And her skills apply there.
Honestly, if I was invited to be attending a wizarding school and I could be a wizard, like again, this is something like if I could be a Jedi, if I could be a wizard, if I was a superhero or whatever I had powers, like I would go full ham. If I was a wizard, nothing would stop me. I would go crazy. I'd be in the restricted section all day. I would learn all the things.
You'd be so evil.
No, I mean,
you just said you'd go in the forbidden section. Come on.
Oh yeah, to learn all about Nicholas Flamel. Have books scream at me, but I would learn so much knowledge. I would become the most powerful wizard. I wouldn't settle for anything less.
That's like so evil.
No, it's not evil.
I would be the most powerful.
I would be up there. I'd be like Dumbledore. Like I'm gonna be up there with you, sir, and I'm gonna bring in like a new age in a good way.
Yeah, you sound so evil. I'm gonna bring a new age. Only pure bloods. I'm gonna name it Terra.
Definitely Slytherin.
That'll be the 4th house at Hogwarts. You got Gryffindors, Slytherin, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Terrans.
So a grand total of 4. Yeah.
Dumbledore's like, keep an eye on that guy because I don't trust him. He's gonna do that.
Let's hear that trivia and
right.
Please let's hear that trivia and let's get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So during the Harry Potter movies, Daniel Radcliffe went through 160 pairs of glasses.
Attaboy.
A lot of glasses.
Almost as many as my parents' underwear.
Rosie O'Donnell and Robin Williams are 2 of the celebrities who had asked for a role in the movie without pay. In their cases, Hagrid and Molly Weasley. They didn't get the roles because J.K. Rowling wanted to cast strictly from the British Isles.
Those are big roles for no pay.
Totally.
Yeah.
Is it just because they love the books, I'm assuming?
I would think so.
I would think so.
The child actors and actresses would do their actual schoolwork in the movie to make the school setting more real.
Oh, cool.
I knew that one.
Nice.
Alan Rickman was handpicked to play Snape by J.K. Rowling and received special instructions from her about the character. Rowling even provided him with the vital details of Snape's backstory, not revealed until the final novel.
Yep. Yes,
Wasn't
he
out
actually
yet, I guess.
knew from the beginning that he was actually protecting Harry and that he was going to be.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's really
so-
cool. Yeah. Because like even when he like comes off cold, I feel like, I mean, again, I never would have noticed it the first time around, but like having the knowledge that I know now, I feel like the delivery almost feels like he's doing it for
Some good
protection.
layers in there.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's cool.
That makes
Well-
more sense than J.K. just being like, okay, Alan, you just gotta be a fucking dick
Yeah.
to Daniel on
You
set.
are the bad guy of this entire series. Just know this, okay?
That kid, you hate that kid.
Yeah.
And there's like the secret message about what would the result be of adding powdered root of asphalite to an infusion of wormwood. It's actually meaning aphalite is lily. It's like decodes to something reflects of a loss of absence of lily. So he's actually reflecting on the loss of his mother. It's like little things like that.
Damn.
Snape's character is like
That's that seems a little far fetched. I believe you, but that just seems like a fan created thing. But you're probably right.
I mean, I feel like that's pretty lucky for the writers to have guessed two flowers that specifically mean like loss and lily in Victorian
Yeah,
flowers.
that's fair.
Last trivia here. David Thewlis, who later played Professor Lupin in Harry Potter Prisoner of Azkaban, was considered for the role of Professor Quirrell. It's kind of cool.
Definitely glad we got him where we got him.
Huh.
Mhm.
I think I could see that though. Still.
Troll in the dungeon.
Don't play
Also,
that game.
Tom Felton auditioned
Malfoy.
for. Yeah. Yes. Like it. Yeah. I knew an actor for once.
I'm just I was confirming. I wasn't 100% that was Malfoy.
He auditioned
Sounds
for the
good.
movie having no idea about any of what Harry Potter was. He didn't know
Nice.
anything. Yeah.
Like
so-
lied about it too, right? He was like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, my favorite."
Yeah, when they were auditioning, they asked the kids, they're like, what are you most excited to act from the Hogwarts universe? And he's just like, oh yeah, I heard some people talking about Gringotts, so I said I was excited to record about Gringotts. And he didn't know
That
He was
any
just
of
like-
it.
Slytherin thing to do, so I respect
He
it.
was just like really sour and mean and just like, I don't have time for this. It's just like
That's why they
we got to roll for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't even give him a script. Just like
They're
start
like
rolling.
he's
the camera.
lazy and evil, so we're gonna give him the character. who's lazy and
He walked into the cast room with the hair all slicked back.
evil.
He was at Fan Expo Vancouver a few years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was he
Nice.
doing there?
was
he
he
didn't.
doing
He didn't
there?
know. Same reason why he was in the movie. You know, he didn't know.
He just
Just
showed up.
showed up.
He's like, "Is this a Walmart? What's going on?"
Yeah.
Another little, if anyone watched in the credits, he is actually Voldemort is listed as he who shall not be named for Richard Bremer.
Noise.
Very cool.
So like that smoke that he does when he goes through Harry, that's like basically what the Death Eater like smoke stuff is, right? It's just like very low tech at like this early stage of the movie, or is it like kind of different?
I haven't thought about that. Probably makes sense to me.
I never really thought about it till this viewing, but like that's
probably
kind
the
of what they
best
do,
version
right?
of it he can muster up at that point, right?
Yeah, he's pretty slow, sluggish.
He's working on his skills.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just
I think that's a good analogy. I mean, good possibility. I can't confirm it. I feel like they definitely changed a lot of these things kind of as the movie
it goes on.
progressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
They're like, so ghosts. Yeah, we're gonna scrap that. Centaurs? Yeah, never seen them again.
That's out of there. All right. Well, I guess if anyone has anything else, we can probably wrap this up.
Nice.
I'm
I'm assuming.
Oh wow, Jinx.
What are
opened
you
Coke.
assuming? Yeah, what are you assuming?
I'm assuming we'll do like a rankings at the.
That's
like, last
exactly what I was
episode.
gonna say.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you guys should have just kept talking.
No kidding.
Word for
yeah.
word, the same thing.
Are we doing like with Saw? I think we placed them every single time. So I mean, right now this one is number one for me so far.
Yeah, for me it's
So
dead
far.
last actually.
because of the Quidditch. Just because of the Quidditch. What does that
it's
mean?
true,
Like
though.
place
I mean,
it.
it
So
is
like
fun.
as we get to like movie 2, I would compare these 2 movies together.
I
I wasn't on the
don't know.
Saw Retro, so I don't know.
I think that's what
This is
we
our
did.
retro.
But yeah, we can do whatever we want.
I think
say do it
We
at
got
the
no
end. I think it
Travis
adds
to
a little
boss
more,
around.
I would say do it at the end personally.
yeah, I'd say
I'll
do it at the
rank.
end.
I'll rank it at the end. I'd say. I think it might be easiest for me, but
We'll take it as it comes. We'll see how we
Yeah.
feel.
okay.
Cool.
Right on, guys.
fun.
Episode 1.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. Good start. Thank you guys for being a part of this. I appreciate you all.
I appreciate you, Taylor.
And I guess until next time, it'll not be boring.
We need like a special kind of outro for
Expelliarmus.
this. Like,
Yeah, we
No.
should have thought about
Oh,
that.
what's
1,
the
2, 3.
what's the
Expelliarmus?
thing on the map? It's like I like to get rid of it.
Mischief managed.
Mischief managed.
Yeah, there we go.
That should be our
Count
sign
of
off.
3.
Nice.
Mischief managed.
Yeah.
1,
Okay,
2,
you
3.
count. Mischief managed.
Mischief.
Mischief.
We fucking butchered that.
It's
You know,
not our fault,
test run.
It's
Test
the
run, test
internet. It's the Zoom. It's the Zoom podcast fault. It's not our fault.
He counted
Edit it,
down, and
edit
then
it.
Kirklin took the
Post,
countdown, and then we
post.
just started.
All right, I'm gonna count down. So 1, 2, 3.
That's counting up.
Mischief-
We all
You're
had it,
right,
Mister.
you're
You
right.
had to go in
My
there.
audacity has been turned off for the last 2
We
minutes.
need to go to bed. I am done with this game. Okay, no mischief for me.
Oh, sounds good.
Mischief
All right.
managed.
Mischief
Mischief
managed.
managed. We'll get better. We'll get better at it.
Do
All
you
right.
need this file right now, or can I send it tomorrow? If I just
I have
let
the same
Audacity
question.
stop.
Is it going live right now? Like, what is it going on for the Patreons? Like right away?
Yes.